Okay, and we are in it, I believe. As with last time, because of the weird way my screen is set up, I cannot actually see my own stream on my computer, so I'm pulling it up on my phone so I can keep tabs on chat and such. Let me send a little message, letting people know we're live. There we go, more abuse of the here notification. Hey, Virtua. Hey, the Fodosnor. Virtua, so we did actually finish XCOM on stream. So you can, if you run back through my live streams, you'll be able to see all of those various Let's Play, those various episodes. That old one from, like, a couple years ago, yeah, that was abandoned. But then we did go back, we did finish the game, and then we started Terror from the Deep. I need to go back and finish Terror from the Deep. I'll probably restart, to be honest. But, yeah, we're gonna finish Terror from the Deep at some point, too. In any case, welcome to Homeworld, or welcome back to Homeworld, as the case may be. Last time, we did the first little bit of the plot. We discovered that our poor Kushan come from somewhere else in the galaxy. We met some aliens, we shot some aliens, we got some good stuff done, we got revenge for the murder of our planet, at least partial revenge. And now, we are about to proceed into the Great Nebula, having passed through the asteroids that surround it. Hey, Litar, or the asteroid belt we were using as cover. So, come on in, sit down, relax. This is Homeworld. If you've never played Homeworld before, sometimes this game is incredibly frenetic, sometimes this game is extremely slow. So there will be times where we're just sitting around, and there's a reason I gave the stream this particular name. There will be times we're sitting around for 10 minutes, just chilling, watching asteroids be harvested, chatting, listening to music. It'll be a good time. The soundtrack to Homeworld is fantastic. But there will also be times when we are just absolutely fighting for our lives. Hey, Garsamore. So, let's get into it, shall we? Here we are. Here is our lovely fleet. We have just finished Diamond Shoals. We're doing pretty well in terms of numbers here. We've got, we've got our mothership. We've got our pretty big passel of capital ships. We've got 30 defenders, 48 interceptors. We're going to go into the launch menu, tell everything to remain docked. And I think it's about time to hyperspace jump on out of here.
Group 3.
Let me make sure that my groups are...
Group 2 copies.
Okay, hold on.
Group 2 reinforced.
Actually, they should probably be Group
designated.
3. Then we'll make...
Standing by.
Group 1 reassigned.
Interceptors 1, all the defenders
Group
2.
2 designated.
Hey, Heartsedin. Hey, John.
Group 1, 2, 3 copies.
Alright, and what are you? Oh, you're a drone frigate. Okay, so drone frigates are...
Drones away.
Drone frigates do that. If you activate their special ability, they deploy this circle of drones, each of which has a little gun.
Retrieving drones.
And they're excellent anti-fighter vessels, which is why we have one and why we really actually would want to have more. I'm kind of tempted to...
Ready for orders.
Kind of tempted to scrap my assault frigates and turn them into drone frigates. To be honest, maybe not right now. Maybe I'll do that a little bit later. Alright, but for now, it is time to hyperspace.
Autodock commencing.
We have well over 100 ships in the fleet at this point, which is pretty radical, not gonna lie.
Hyperspace initiated.
But we lost our destroyer. Makes me sad, man. And away we go.
The Bentusi said, "No one returns."
This is just the way parade ground formation is. Faith. The remastered graphics are fine. What I don't like is all the other changes the remastered version makes. The remastered version changes a lot about the gameplay, which I am not a fan of. So I prefer to play the original version. And especially if I'm doing, you know, historical games, I like to play the historical versions.
Responding.
The nebula is incredibly rich in energy and resources. Energy levels are so high that our sensors are having trouble compensating.
Okay, we're gonna launch our
Begin
defenders
harvesting
and
the
our
nebula while we
interceptors.
recalibrate the sensors.
Launching. Launch.
I want to keep the salvage corvettes inside, though.
Guidance not confirmed.
Examples of what it changed? Well, okay, so I know some stuff got changed back eventually, but
Looking good.
at the start, at least,
Reporting.
things like the remastered version didn't have bullet tracing. They just had hit-scan weapons that had a percentage chance to miss. They also
Never.
changed the speeds of almost everything in the game. They changed HPs, they changed resource costs. They just kind of made it a different game in a lot of ways. They made it a lot more like Homeworld 2. As you can see, our sensors are completely screwy. We do have some resources right around us, so we'll get started harvesting.
Reporting.
But
Resources downrange. Roger.
we are going to
Acknowledged.
send some
Ready for
defenders
escort. Ready for orders.
with each resource harvester
Acknowledged. Ready for escort.
to
Awaiting
guard
assignment.
them,
Awaiting assignment. Ready for escort.
like that.
Confirmed. Guarding.
So each of our harvesters will have a little pile of defenders guarding them
Mothership.
against fighters. Yeah, I mean, the remasters are fine. Like, the remasters are solid, but they're a slightly different game. In basically every way. Hold on. Are my resource collectors actually faster than my defenders? No, they're not. Okay, that should be fine.
Receiving.
Why are you having trouble catching up? Don't have any research I can do. I have 76 RUs. I would like to build a destroyer, which costs $13.50. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff I need as well. These guys are just gonna dock for right now.
Not a support frigate. Dock con enabled.
And yeah, we have remain docked activated. So they will remain docked.
Ready for orders.
So we're just gonna snag some resources real quick. See how we go.
There's a contact closing with the mothership. Sensor instability in this region makes it difficult to identify. Prepare the ambassador.
The
Mothership.
mothership?
Reporting for duty.
The Defender's a cool fighter. Definitely. And here they are.
This is the garden of Kadesh. For 13 generations we have protected it from the unclean. The tyrannic raiders who came before you refused to join and were punished for this trespass. Like theirs, your ship has already defiled this holy place. If you have come to join, we welcome you, and will spare you your ship until all have disembarked. If you have come to consume the garden, you will be removed at once. What are your intentions?
We were unaware of the significance of this location. We mean you no conflict. Please allow us time to prepare our engines so that we may withdraw as requested.
If If you will not join, then die. There is no withdrawal from the garden.
And there we go. And here come the drums.
Delay the attacking ships while Fleet Command charges the hyperdrive module.
Locked on target.
We should have the range to jump clear of the nebula.
Locked on target.
Awaiting assignment.
Reporting for duty.
I don't know why my salvage corvettes
Acknowledged.
Document support
have
frigate
not
initiated.
docked.
On receiving.
Group 2.
Acknowledged.
Alright, so here's the key to fighting. Here's the key to fighting the Kadeshi, alright? You see these things? You gotta blow them up. What just happened? I think what happened is my game just crashed for some reason. Hold the phone. Okay. What the fuck? Okay, why did that happen, I wonder? Also, I'm gonna take this opportunity to try to go back to a higher... Yes. Good. Okay, let's try that again. Hop right back into it. Welcome to the garden.
Launching.
Responding.
Launch.
And we're gonna keep the salvage corvettes
The
inside.
nebula is incredibly rich in energy and resources. Energy levels are so high that our sensors are having trouble compensating. Begin harvesting the nebula while we recalibrate the sensors.
Yeah. Begin harvesting the nebula.
3 copies. Ready for orders. Standing by. Collection underway. Guidance log confirmed.
We're gonna send, say...
Reporting for duty.
Let's say 7
Coming together. Looking good.
to guard each of our harvesters.
Acknowledged. Ready for escort. Cabin pressure stable. Reporting.
That's 5. 6 is fine too.
Acknowledged. Ready for escort. Standing by.
5, 6. Where'd my third one go? There he is.
Control engaged. Assuming guard.
Mothership.
Alright, let's try this again, shall we? Get back to harvesting the nebula. You know, that thing the Kadeshi told us we shouldn't do where they kill us. But fuck him, right? Am I right? Right. I'm right. Of course I'm right. As Markiplier would say, you right.
Waiting assignment.
Mothership.
Group 3.
And we're just gonna pull group 3 together in a wall, like right there. You know, just for fun.
Group 1.
Group 1. Put them on probably neutral is fine.
Equalizing power.
Reporting.
Group 2 designated.
These guys would be group 2. We're gonna put them on aggressive because they can't dodge anyway.
Power to weapons.
Awaiting assignment.
And this drone frigate can be close to
Destination
neutral.
locked in.
Alright, here we go again.
There's a contact closing with the mothership. Sensor instability in this region makes it difficult to identify. Prepare the ambassador.
No, you gotta target the fuel pods, dude. I promise. It's how you do this.
Group 3 receiving.
Targeting the fuel pods is the primary way you deal with the swarmer madness. Alright, here we go through the cutscene again. I've always been a little confused as to, like, the foreshortening in this part of the cutscene. Like, you'd think you could see the long spindle hanging behind that big round shield. I have to say, I really like the swarmer design.
This is the garden of Kadesh. For 13 generations we have protected it from the unclean. The tyrannic raiders who came before you refused to join and were punished for this trespass. Like theirs, your ship has already defiled this holy place. If you have come to join, we welcome you, and will spare you your ship until all have disembarked. If you have come to consume the garden, you will be removed at once. What are your intentions?
We were unaware of the significance of this location. We mean you no conflict. Please allow us time to prepare our engines so that we may withdraw as requested.
If you will not join, then die. There is no withdrawal from the garden.
You've also got to love the menacing circle that the Kadeshi ambassador does around you. Also, why is my ambassador Corvette is green now, which it wasn't last time? That's probably positive. Alright, so let's try this battle again, shall we? Should be fun. We're just here to have a good time. I think I've gotten some resources in, too.
Delay the attacking ships while Fleet Command charges the hyperdrive module.
Target 2 receiving.
We should have the range to jump clear of the nebula.
Group 2 to combat stations.
Nope, that just crashes. Okay, interesting. Alright, so it looks like that is just gonna crash when that battle starts. That's, I would say, a huge problem. Which I don't know how to fix. Huh. Okay. Yeah, that's not great. So this is always a problem when you're playing these old games. But alas, it is not, as I said, it's not a problem that I know how to fix right at the moment. So I think it's time for a sudden and dramatic change of plan as to the content of this stream. So what we're going to do instead, since that's clearly not going to work, we are going to play some Dominions instead. In fact, and this is completely unprepared, okay? So I apologize to everyone who was here to watch Homeworld. It's clearly not going to happen. Instead, what we're going to do is we are going to cut down some of the backlog of Dominions turns that I have, because I have a lot of DOM5 turns that I have not yet recorded, and that I've been meaning to go through and record, and I just haven't gotten that done yet. So we're just gonna dive in and look at my saved turns and talk about how one of my games is going. How about that? Does that sound fun? That sounds like fun. Yeah, that might be I don't know what that is. Here, let me change the name here. This is the surprise DOM5 Catchup stream. I also need to change the picture on it, because the picture on it is the Homeworld logo. I don't want to be lying to people like that. Yeah, it might be a memory leak, and I don't know. That's very frustrating, because honestly, I really, really love Homeworld, and I'd love to play it, and I'd love to share it with people. But if that's gonna happen, then I gotta figure out what's causing that problem before I can really do anything about it. So, we're going into DOM5. Let me post it on Discord as well. Okay. Yeah, that's, different. Alright, cool. So, there are a couple of Dominions games that I've been playing, and that even one that I actually started recording and putting up, and that I haven't actually continued much at all. So, if we go into here, we can see a whole bunch of saved turns. Assuming Dominions isn't gonna lock up on me now. Like, what the fuck? Hubris is a coward's word. There is the incoherence of the Pantocrators. We were doing that. I'll probably come back to that another time, because there's a lot of turns for the incoherence of the Pantocrators that I don't have saved. There's at least some of them that I don't have saved that I need to pull the records of off of Discord, because I have, of course, the bot save all my start turn files. So in order to kind of reassemble that into a coherent narrative, Hubris is a coward's word, however, I have pretty much every turn, at least pretty close. So I think it's time to go through, you know, a little bit of Hubris is a coward's word and talk about that. Sound good? Okay, I assume that sounds good. So let's jump into Hubris is a coward's word, turn 13. When last we left, if you recall, our glorious Maconians, we had been talking about what our strategy was going to be, kind of moving forward here. I'm going to turn off my phone, since with Dominions, I don't need the workaround. I can just look at stuff on my computer. And we decided that we were probably going to go to war with Baratos, but first, we were going up here, and we were chewing a little bit of land off Xibalba, both to open up a new kind of northern front, and just because it's free land, and free land is always great. So, we've got Xibalba over here, poor Foxy Dean. Xibalba is sitting in his capital with a whole bunch of Scorpions, Sun Guides, Xibalban Guards. He's got some mages out. He keeps defeating attacks. It's kind of hilarious. I didn't fight in the arena. There was a battle in the arena, and he got Krup's Bracers, which is pretty... Thictar, the goddess of Pangea. Her champion owned Krup's Bracers, which is pretty cool. Didn't find any magic sites. I'm doing a lot of magic site searching in this game, more than I normally do, and it's paying off big time. I'm getting a lot of gems. Like, I'm already up to 15 gems per turn on turn 13, which is pretty freaking sweet. Now, my income is garbage, because A, it's early age, and B, it is Makone. But still, overall, things are pretty good. In terms of territory here, we're moving guys around. We've taken Summer Bay. We're gathering troops here to attack Umidor. I had attacked Umidor this turn, and unfortunately I failed, and that was because Umidor had elephants. I knew there was a significant chance of losing this battle, and I just did it because I wanted to kill the elephants, basically. And so my troops went in with their javelins and their spears, and they did successfully rout off the elephants, but only after the vast majority of my own army had been destroyed. So the elephants flee and die, my mages flee and live, and all that's left is a whole bunch of slingers and some commanders. So Umidor is easy meat, I just need to get somebody in there to take it. War elephants, yikes, versus Helix, oof. Very, very oof. In Mysia, meanwhile, this was a province I had actually agreed to give to Atlantis, and then I forgot and didn't move my troops out, and so he sent one commander to claim what he thought would be a completely undefended province, and I ruthlessly murdered him. Sorry. Sorry, Mantarb. My bad. And then I got some gems and some defense. So yeah, everything's going pretty peachy keen here. We're still moving around. We're building a city palisade down here. We've got a city palisade up here on the lizards. This is, to my mind, at this point, really important. The lizards give me nature, they give me astral, they give me all kinds of cool access, and I'll be able to do communion spells with them. So having shamans is really valuable to me. Also, over here, well, you'll see something later on in this province that we don't see yet, but we've got Archaeolocos moving up here through Ogden Mercs. We've got these guys moving in here to this province. These bats are going to move down through here. I've been in contact with Foxy so that he can move over here and get them back to his capital to help out against the invading Atlanteans. And I, meanwhile, I'm going to gather my troops up, move up this way, and then attack Baratos, while simultaneously gather some troops down here, finish taking Umador, then go down through 43 and into Uzid Yazran. This isn't... I mean, to my mind, this was my best strategic choice at the moment. It is, however, kind of an interesting one. Because what's going to happen here is, if I win, I'm going to end up stretched out along the coast. Like, I'm going to enwrap the world all along the coast like this, which means I'll be hugely vulnerable, just geographically, because I will have this enormous border with, like, at least 2 or 3 neighbors. And then I'll also have this other enormous border with both of the ocean people. At this point, I'm still not thinking that I'm going to win this game, because the fact of the matter is, Makone usually doesn't win games. But I'm kind of trying to prove to myself and to others that Makone is a reasonably solid nation, that somebody who was better at Dominions than I am could win a game with, which I feel like I successfully do over the course of this game. How long ago was it that the last turn happened in this game? This game actually is technically not over. It has not finished. We're still fighting it out. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my screens a little bit here. That said, the game is moving towards a conclusion, but it's just not finished yet. So, that's turn 13. Nothing too terribly interesting is happening. I'm barely researching at this point. All my mages are doing shit. This is post-Makone rework Orochi. I've just got some real basic research heading up. I'm trying to grab Enchantment level 3 because that will give me Strength of Giants. Then I'll grab Conjuration level 3 because that gives me Earth Power. And then I'll grab Construction level 3 because that gives me Legions of Steel and basic items. All of those are great early Makone research goals. So, we then go to turn 14. Turn 14, we found a magic site. We were attacked in Nirn, as I knew we would, and we lost, of course, although we did kill a sun guide somehow. Ouch. We got some gems, got some heat, and we found Smolderstone in Halemire. Smolderstone is a little fire site, so that's decent. We've got some troops in Ogden Mercs. These guys are moving back to recapture that province. These troops are going up here to capture that province. Then we're going to prepare to attack Beratos. Meanwhile, down here, we've got more troops heading back into Umidor. This isn't that many, but this will be fine, because, like I said, all they've got is slingers, basically. So, slingers versus Healed Hoplites do essentially no damage. Like, basically 0 damage. In terms of recruitment, still recruiting E4s, still recruiting Helots, not recruiting a whole lot of Gigantes. We're going double Scout up here. Although I should change, I think I do change that this turn, because I finished my Lab Temple combo. So I think this turn I swap over to Shamans. And we're building a lab and a city palisade down here, so that we're able to start recruiting mages at Old Giant Woods. Now, the other interesting thing about Old Giant Woods, and I forget if I've mentioned this earlier, but I've got a convent here, which normally isn't a big deal, but for Makone, a convent is actually really a big deal, for 2 reasons. First of all, it decreases unrest, so my fort unrest in this province will be less than it otherwise would be. And the nuns and sisters are disease healers. So they can cure diseases. Makone has all kinds of old man mages that are pretty expensive. And so having disease healers around is a huge benefit for them, because every year somebody will get a disease, and then these ladies can cure it. They are also stealthy, so they can wander around pretty much for free. Hey Rovsy, yes, I was just streaming Homeworld, but unfortunately Homeworld decided it was going to crash. And so I cannot stream Homeworld until I have figured out why the Garden of Kadesh is repeatedly crashing on me. Which is a real problem. Like, really makes me sad, because I love Homeworld, and I was really looking forward to the Garden of Kadesh, but it is what it is. We're also recruiting Atavi chieftains, and for some reason 1 Markata here in Edirol. So I'm just using these guys as scouts and as basic commanders. So that is turn 14. Nothing else terribly interesting is happening. Research is accelerating, now that I actually have, another fort and stuff. But still, just kind of biding my time. Then we go into turn 15. Yeah, Jake, I have the remaster, but like I said, I don't really like it. It's got a lot of... There's a lot of reasons I would prefer to play the original. For one thing, because I do old games. I do historical games, and I want to give that experience. We've hit enchantment level 2, which is cool. We took over Nirn, no resistance. In Umador, we won with basically no casualties. And we found a lab in Old Giant Woods, which is kind of hilarious. I mean, good timing. Saved us a little bit of money, but yeah, we found a lab in the place we were building a lab. So we're recruiting an E4 there. Up here, we've now swapped over to recruiting shamans. We did swap over to recruiting a shaman after I saved that turn. And we're doing okay. I'm sorry to hear you didn't like it, Pixel. But now we are going in against Baratos. So last turn, Ulm attacked Baratos, so they've got an army. Mainly this is just their god, but Baratos had set up this fort here on 47, and now Ulm is attacking. We've got Ulm on our side. We've also been negotiating with Helheim. So we've got Helheim coming in on our side at this point as well. I'm hoping, at this point, that makes this a short and easy war. That's the goal. The goal is for this to be quick and simple and over pretty soon. We're starting to recruit more Archons. I don't think we found any more magic gems. I don't think we did. We didn't find any more sites this turn. We've got these troops moving up here. We've got some mercenaries that we hired, plus good old Biggest Dickus with his army ready to go in. So we're taking both of these provinces away from Baratos this turn. And yes, this is being played with the Omniscience mod. Omniscience is they're like this. It's almost impossible to click on. There's like 2 pixels, yeah, right there. See where it says 135? Question mark 135 deep sea. That's like 1 pixel right here. That's the province that Omniscience occupies. Their Huawei 5G network, played by Perun in this game. Perun has also been putting up videos on this game on his channel. Check him out. Perun's great. And very intelligent, and frankly, much better at this game than I am. Like, I like to think that I'm entertaining. Perun is more skilled at the game than I am. Straight up. But, so, we're launching the invasion. Ulm has already attacked, and Helheim should be attacking along with us. So, I'm hoping, like I said, at this point, that Baratos will just fall pretty quickly. That's the goal. Now, how successful will we be in achieving that goal? Dunno. We'll find out. Actually, I mean, I know, but I'm not going to tell you yet. Meanwhile, over here, the Bat Frog War is heating up again. In Thing Woods, Atlantis is moving out a whole bunch of living pillars and warriors of the deep and stuff. So this is why, anticipating this is why Foxy dodged north. So he took this province instead of going around through this way. And it's looking like there's going to be a clash here in Turtle Glades, but we will find out. I'm just not touching any of these provinces because I am technically on both of these guys' sides. I just want them to fight long enough that they basically, like, wear out a lot of Atlantis's everything. I don't know if I've sent him anything yet. But I am sending... I'm doing some arms trading pretty soon. I'll be sending some weapons to Xibalba, just to help them out. The Yomi Fomoria TNN Agartha War, I never actually saw. It was over before I got scouts over there. My scouts are kind of slowly creeping across the map, but I don't have great coverage yet at the moment. So that's turn 15. Turn 16, we get our first battles against Baratos. That is the start of the Baritian War for us. Turn 16 should be. So, Helheim went in as well. So, Helheim went in with a Hellkarl and 4 Hellhirdings. Helheim's Bless is, of course, insane. Absolutely mental. I mean, actually, I should take that back. Their Bless isn't absolutely mental, but their Bless is very well calibrated to make these guys really, really good, because they're already really good. So they've got Barkskin, Shockfire, Magic Weapons, and Magic Resistance. It just makes their stats good. like, much better than they should be. 18 prot plus glamour plus high defense skill plus cavalry means they're just really hard to hurt. And they can fight back against anything. And so they just run over these poor province defense with no resistance whatsoever. Bim bam boom. Meanwhile, I cast Distill Gold, which I normally don't do, but at this point I had lots of fire gems and I was desperate for money, so I got 500 gold out of that. We found 2 magic sites in Morovia, an ancient temple and a copper idol. I found actually quite like a couple of ancient temples, so I ended up with a decent astral pearl income pretty early on in this game, which was really, really hilarious. But Asaios keeps going around just site searching, finding good stuff for me. In terms of battles, the one battle that was actually kind of like an actual battle happened here in New Micria, where we ran into, this was probably a defensive unit moving up to stop me from doing what I did. And they just ran into more stuff than they anticipated. So this is 14 Baritian Sacreds, the Colossi Warriors. Colossi Warriors are pretty decent. They're not amazing, but they're good enough to use, certainly. And with his bless is pretty heavy. Attack skill, magic weapons, shock resistance, defense, strength, and blood surge. So once again, a pretty heavy, wide stat bless, sort of like what Helheim is doing. But so he sent in these 14. Now the thing with Colossi Warriors is, even when they're under a pretty heavy bless, if you look at these guys under this stat bless, so they've got, they've got plus attack, plus defense, plus strength, and they've got blood surge. They've got strength 17, attack 15, defense 18, and 22 hit points. If you compare that to the Giganti Ektremoi, the Giganti Ektremoi are actually still better, stat-wise. Colossi Warriors are pretty decent. Giganti Ektremoi are really, really tough on an individual basis. So Giganti Ektremoi one-on-one against Colossi Warriors with this bless are still generally going to win. And of course, I have some chaff mixed in as well. So we get lined up like this. I actually lost a guy really early right there, but then the lizards start coming in, the chaff start distracting their attacks, and we end up eating them. And there we go. So, the Baritian army flees. The balance of casualties was on my side. I lost 3 of my expensive giants, he lost 11 of his expensive giants, and then I lost some chaff. But nobody really cares about that. So we took New Micria. We took, I can't pronounce it, Sorimenclivier, whatever this province is. We took that province, and we took Hexwoods, all with basically no resistance. So that's pretty decent. Dante's Stingers then left us. That's fine. We have a disease in Gueladun, and we have barbarians about to attack Summer Bay. This was real unfortunate. This made me real sad. Especially because I actually goofed here. I sent in Gratian with 16 of these guys, and I believe they attack next turn and wipe him out. I don't recall off the top of my head. Got an Archon coming up next turn, and we're recruiting a whole bunch of Helots plus some Giganti Ektremoi. I'm pushing because I'm trying to get Baratos locked down and pretty much out of the game before they get air elementals, like full-size air elementals. I'm thinking size 3 air elementals I might be able to deal with. Size 5 air elementals I cannot deal with at this time. I just don't have the magic. My research is too low, my magic is not strong enough. I'm getting mages out now that can research, but, my gamble was that I could expand heavily early on and then do the research. And so, we're gonna see. But so, we're moving in there. Ulm is piling up on the fort on Bahamut, moving in more Long Dead. Down here, Helheim is cutting their way into Baratos. And overall, it's looking like this is going to be pretty quick. Right now, I'm looking at the map and I'm thinking, well, okay, so Helheim is likely to get Baratos itself. Which is a bummer, but that will mean, if they do that, then at least they'll be sandwiched between Ulm and Hinnom and I can probably get a coalition going against them, and get them wiped out, and then maybe I can do something with that. Meanwhile, down over here, the Bats and the Atlanteans have actually dodged each other. All the Bats are currently garrisoned in Xibalba. I don't believe there was even a battle this turn. Yeah, the Archon is a big deal. The Archon rework makes Makone pretty cool. Having an actual battle mage is a big thing for them. But yeah, so there's I'm moving scouts. Yeah, I'm getting this scout moving in to get him onto Xibalba so I can see further Xibalba battles. Because I'm suspecting there's going to be some cool Xibalba battles coming up. But right now, Xibalba is at 2 provinces, so keep a note of that. Turn 16, Xibalba is at 2 provinces, but still alive. Their Basalt King kill count right now is, I think, 1 or 2? I'm not sure. In any case, in terms of research, still doing the same thing, but I've bumped construction up to level 4. I'm going down to it after I hit Enchantment and Conjuration 3. So let's look at turn 17. Where things continue to get more and more complex. So, turn 17. Ulm has a new prophet, Fomoria has a new prophet, Yomi OP please nerf. And Baratos has a new prophet, who they did not rename. Now we actually see some fighting between Atlantis and Xibalba. I don't think this is much fighting, I think this is just them killing province defense. Yeah, this is just province defense. So what we've got here is we've got 2 lightly geared Basalt King thugs going in on some province defense. This guy has a heroic valor, so increased morale and leadership. That's pretty cash money. And they just kind of charge in and kill everybody because they have like 29 prot, and these guys can't hurt them with their 13 damage spears. So all he has to do is walk forward and punch people with his quarterstaff until the fear aura kicks in and they all run away. Doesn't take all that long. This is the ideal use case for light thugs like this. There you go. However, hilariously, you then had Relay attack exactly the same province. And they are attacking with Slave Guardians. Now, fortunately, Slave Guardians also have ship morale, but I don't remember who it is that wins this battle, frankly. I honestly do not recall. I'm thinking, from looking at it, that it's Relay. Oh, nope, it's not. The Fear Aura is just too much for these cowardly slave troops. They break and run immediately upon contact. The Prophet. Wait, the Prophet of Relay. Ready to 1v1 me, Mandar. Mandar Max is playing Atlantis. So yeah, all the Slave Guardians just run the fuck away. Oh, that's golden. I love it. I love it so much. And yeah, this army scatters, and I think a whole bunch of them die in the retreat, and the Basalt Kings stand victorious. Meanwhile, we take Uzid Yazran against no resistance, and then we also lose Summer Bay. And unfortunately, this guy is here. Because I think I had him, like, site searching or something. Anyway, I goofed. I didn't get him out of the way of the barbarian invasion. And so the barbarians roll in, and they just start wrecking face. Things Helot Hoplites are not good at fighting. Barbarians. Helot Hoplites are very bad at fighting barbarians, because Helot Hoplites have high prot and nothing else, and barbarians are good at dealing with high prot and nothing else. So, yeah, everyone dies. Everyone in Summer Bay dies. Rip my E4, rip all my Earth Gems I was pre-positioning. We also bought more mercenaries, because we actually had money here. We bought the Ghoulfather, we bought Nurgash's Damned Legion. We got some good money from Old Giant Woods, and Morovia, we got a whole bunch of negative scales. So, we've got Nurgash's Damned Legion moving in on Uzid Yazran. Up here, we've got the Ghoulfather, along with Biggest Dickus, and we don't see anybody in position to intercept, and I'm like, I'm just gonna push forward. Why not? Meanwhile, of course, Helheim is just absolutely devouring Baratos in enormous chunks. As they do, because they're Helheim. And Nurgash and his troops are going in to support the fight at Uzid Yazran. Meanwhile, up here, still recruiting Archons, still recruiting Gigantes. We've got a few, getting a few more. Over here, we're recruiting still mostly Helots. And up here, we're recruiting mostly Helots, plus recruiting more Lizard Shamans, who are walking around site searching. We've got Asaios still walking around site searching. Things are going pretty good. Sacred Earth, the Basalt King, and these two Basalt Kings are prepping to go attack Xibalba, and I'm sneaking a scout onto Xibalba to make sure I don't miss it. We've also got even more Warriors of the Deep and Living Pearls. So right now, the armies that are going in are composed against Baratos, composed mainly of cheap undead mercenaries that are basically just there to add strength to Siege Chaff. I'm still hoping at this point that I can get in before Baratos has the full-sized air elementals. Also, yes, so my Bless, someone mentioned this, my Bless is poison resistance, reinvigoration, and larger, and Lizard Shamans are sacred, so my Lizard Shamans are size 3. So I know you meant that metaphorically, that they're like big as in they're important, but no, they're literally big. Like, my Lizard Shamans are hench as fuck. My Lizard Shamans lift. It's a sacred duty. Gains are required in the cult of my god here. The cult of the Gigantist. Relax, Adam. So, yeah. Overall, we're doing fine. Gratian is going back to pick up a whole bunch more troops, including more Gigantes, because he's got some basic Helots here, but he's like, I kind of want to clear out Summer Bay, because Summer Bay's a lot of money, but I need Gigantes to do that. So we're going back there. And beyond that, we've got Eternal Crackling moving down in this direction, and I think he's negotiating with Helheim about some of these provinces around here. And Helheim is actually being very agreeable, including with me. Like, I've been talking with Helheim, and I've been like, yeah, I kind of want to take Baratos, and Helheim has agreed with that. Which I honestly didn't expect. Like, if I had been in Helheim's position, I probably would have been tempted to just push for the cap. And if Helheim had pushed for the cap, had demanded that as part of our negotiations, to be honest, I probably would have agreed, because I am a little bit uncomfortable with the idea of having the entire coast, and my empire is already kind of stretched out. And taking the capital and securing all that would stretch it out even more. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, as long as I get a fort and a couple of provinces and I don't lose all that much, that's probably a decent win for me. Like, I'm willing to accept that. Obviously, I would like Baratos, because Baratos' cap site gives you a whole bunch of gems. And I would like gems. My gem income is still reasonably healthy. It's not super, super amazing, but it's pretty healthy for turn 17. But I would like, more gems. That's one big reason why I'm focused on Uzid Yazran, because Uzid Yazran has 3 air gems per turn, which is really solid. So in turn 18, the next turn on the agenda, in turn 18 we found 3 magic sites. We found an Enchanted Pyre, and then we found a Smolder Stone and another Ancient Temple. So our astral income is now actually pretty decent. And then up here, the Enchanted Pyre is another fire gem site. So right now, our incomes. Fire is actually, I think, our highest. Yeah, at +8. This will change shortly. Air, +6. And then we've got +2 astral, which is really kind of funny. So we're doing alright. And there were some battles in Xibalba, and once again, Atlantis and Relay collided. So Atlantis goes in against Xibalba. They run into just a huge pile of Xibalban warriors and guards. I think this is all just PD. Like, I think this is just PD. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure. And all the bats just drop on them and can accomplish nothing. Zagmu has 30 protection. I presume he has Valor. Yeah, so Zagmu has 30 protection, Zag 2 has 29, there's literally nothing these bats can do against them, they just fight until they get scared and then they fly away. So, yeah, that was all just province defense. They killed the Coral Priest and the 2 Basalt Kings stand firm. And then Relay sends in Oleg the Shambler Chief for I'm not sure why. I don't know what Oleg is doing here. I don't think Oleg knows what he's doing here either. Oleg just got the word down from above. Maybe the order was like smudged or something, and it had the wrong name on it, and he only thought they were sending him to attack Xibalba. Maybe he was actually supposed to go pick up some troops from a fort or something. In any case, Oleg follows his orders and goes in to attack Xibalba and runs into two fully erect Basalt Kings and gets the absolute shit smacked out of him. Rip Oleg. We will not remember you. I attack Kark, take it with no problem, and I've hit enchantment level 3, so now I have Strength of Giants. Strength of Giants is a really good spell to have. Meantime, the Iforoi have declared the Crypteon, and so unrest is going on all over the place. I got another lab in Plane of Memories where it's not useful, and here I get a really cool random event. In Halemire, Oleg has constructed a huge device that transforms base metals into gold. So in Halemire, I now have Oleg's alchemical device, which brings in 100 gold per turn, and pushes the income of this province up to 165, which is pretty freaking cool. Broken. Strength of Giants is overkill on Gigantes, but on Helots, on Helot Hoplites, Strength of Giants is fantastic, because they cram in 4 per square. They have high prot already, and if you give them Strength of Giants, now they hit for 17 piercing damage. So it's really, really good on these guys. Strength of Giants and Legions of Steel combined makes them actually pretty solid troops. Now, unfortunately, there was a battle in Uzak Yazrim that we have to look at. So here's the enemy force, okay? They've got a Bride in Waiting, they've got a Stormcaller, they've got another Stormcaller down here, and as soon as I saw these guys, I went, ah, shit. They're bringing out the Air Elementals. And they were indeed bringing out the Air Elementals. My army here is not very strong. This is mostly siege chaff. My actual troops are still kind of a couple provinces behind. So what happens here is pretty predictable. Lesser Air Elementals for days. The Lesser Air Elementals and the Banishment spam come on in, and they absolutely annihilate my my skeleton forces. Now, here's what's really funny and annoying, okay? I routed them, but this guy has a limp. So, because he has a limp, these guys get off the battlefield, but Limpy McGee doesn't. Actually, wait, Limpy McGee did get off the battlefield. Who's still here? Yeah, okay, my commander got off the battlefield before Limpy McGee did. So all that was left was this one long dead who was crumbling. So when he crumbles, there's no one left there. And so I lose. Mm-hmm. Fucking Limpy McGee. Yeah, so I lose all of my long dead, I lose most of my Helot Hoplites. Like, financially, this isn't a big deal for me. But, in terms of, you know, not having this place under siege, it's a problem. Especially because I don't have the troops to put it back under siege. And then I look down south and I'm like, oh, well, fuck, can't stop that. So, yeah, it's not a huge loss for me. My mage escapes, but it's a setback and it wastes time. Gathering up a more significant army down here. However, this is an army of mostly fire mages, so this guy is bringing down all these gems so I can cast fire elementals. Fire elementals do alright against air elementals. And I'll have conjuration level 3 in 2 turns, which is just about in time. Yeah, the Necromancer was a mercenary. So, we've got more Gigantes being recruited, more Archons coming, gathering more troops. Everything's fine, but it's a delay. And it's a delay I don't like. Meanwhile, over here, there's these Relayan troops just kind of hovering off the coast optimistically, and I'm like, don't like that. But I'm moving up to try and get around here into Baratos, because I'm looking at this army and I'm thinking, well, if this army is going north, then I might be able to sneak my army around the back way, put Baratos under siege, pull them back south, And then my troops up here will be able to come down and besiege Uzid Yazrim while these guys are rushing back down south to stop me from attacking them there. You see what I'm saying? It's all a big seesaw. I'm kind of this is their one main army. They probably feel like they have to pull it together to keep it together. So I'm hoping that I can ping-pong this army back and forth a little bit and actually manage to crack one of the forts and take it before they can bring me to a decisive battle. Because I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't think I can take that army, especially not if it's backed up with lesser air elemental spam. Because I just don't have the magical moxie on either side to deal with that at this point. Getting a Sios up here to help site search Ogden Mercs. We're site searching all over the place with other mages. Everything's going fine down in my happy fun Makone land. Income is slowly going up. In fact, if we look at my stats, we can see that my income's been going up steadily and my gem income has been going up steadily, which is pretty radical. Did I find? Yeah, this was when I found the 3 magic sites in one turn, which is pretty cool. My luck with site searching was quite good. Meantime, of course, we have Basalt Kings on Chibalba. We'll see how that goes for them. Just keep an eye on that. Just keep an eye on that. It's kind of a funny story. And Ulm has broken Bahamut, so they're about to charge in there. I'm a little bit surprised at this point that Helheim, like I said earlier, I'm a little surprised at this point that Helheim isn't charging in. Because in Helheim's position, I would probably be trying to take Baratos. But he's being a little cautious. And yeah, at this point, my empire is fairly large. My gem income and my income are both pretty decent. So I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm feeling good about stuff. I'm going to take back Summer Bay, then I'm going to move down into Uzid Yazrin. Hopefully that army will get distracted by Helheim or this pig or me down here or something, and I'll be able to get something done. In any case, I'm okay with where I'm at. For research, yeah, Conjuration 3 in 2 turns. After that, we're running down construction so we can start outfitting thugs and casting Legions of Steel. Turn, that is the wrong button. Turn 19. Turn 19, something unfortunate happens. And that unfortunate thing is we bump with Relay. So Relay moves in 74 Slave Guardians into Doven, which is more than I thought they had, but they move in 74 Slave Guardians into Doven. And then my force runs into Doven. And unfortunately, we're now in a situation where we are both outnumbered and outgunned. Most of my forces here are Yazad ibn Hasar's ghouls, which are bad units. They exist to be siege chaff, that's why I have them. And then I have a couple Gigantes and a few Neodemode Hoplites, most of whom are badly injured. Meanwhile, on Relay's side, he has a goddamn division of Slave Guardians, who are actually quite solid troops. Like, Slave Guardians, not bad, especially not for the price. And he has a priest who can banish undead, which most of my guys are. So this is pretty predictable. Like, really predictable. By which I mean it's a massacre. Yeah, the High Magus has a lifelong protection. He's pretty good, but he wasn't fit to fight off this. Not by a long shot. We do actually rout quite a few of them, but they don't get off the battlefield. So yeah, it's a massacre. All my mercenaries are wiped out. Pretty much all my troops are wiped out. Fortunately, my Lokoi survives. Biggest Dickus gets away. But we only kill 11 Slave Guardians, and we're just like, man, fucking why? The Crypteon is underway in my various forts, so Unrest is going down. I did lose 5 Healit Hoplites in Halemire, but that's fine. That gives more experience to your assassins. So, that puts me in kind of a pickle. A little bit, because now I have, like, an okay-ish army here that I've brought up with Archilokos, but I can't beat this with it. And I can't beat this with it. So I'm just standing here like, well, fuck, I guess I just move backwards. Yes, Ballin, I know you did that deliberately. Thank you. Yeah, it boosts the amount of experience the Crypties start with by a small amount. It's not really worth it, but it helps a little bit. Ulm has taken their fort. Helheim appears to have basically, like, fucked off and be doing something else at this point. Excuse me. Whew. Dust. So at this point, in the south, I'm just kind of falling back. I need to pull up some more troops, I need to get some more mages together, I need not to get Biggest Dickus killed, because he's cool and I like him. And at this point, I'm looking here like, is Relay, like, going to war with me, or what is happening? Up here, meanwhile, I'm pulling in a whole bunch more troops and building a pretty big army. Lots of Gigantes, lots of slave troops, lots of gems. I haven't scripted any of my mages yet, but I will soon. And we're getting ready to roll on down to Uzid Yazrin and try to actually take the place. I do have a decent amount of siege strength, and I'm getting more coming in, because, you know, like, Gigantes are 4 siege strength each, so this by itself is about 30. And then I got these guys coming in, and I got these guys coming in with a couple little troops, so I've got probably like 175 siege strength here. Gonna roll back down through Summer Bay and into Uzid Yazrin, try to take it over, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. So Ballin, I was never worried about you taking Baratos, because I knew that whoever moved on to Baratos first was going to have to fight this army, and you didn't have any better a solution to air elementals than I did at the time. What I was afraid of was, I was afraid that you were going to make a deal with Baratos and just start rolling me up, and I would really struggle to deal with that at that point. Like, that was going to be a problem if you did that. So that was what I was really hoping you did not do. But yeah, we're just kind of pulling everything together. Getting ready for an attack down here. At this point, the war against Baratos, I'm like, okay. It's worth it because I've taken a whole bunch of provinces that have decent income. Like, these 5 provinces right here alone were worth the effort that I put in so far. And then I also got that one and Summer Bay, once I take it back. But I haven't been able to roll over Baratos the way I wanted to. So, a little bit irritating, but, you know, that's how Dominions goes. Especially when I'm playing a nation like Mekone that, for all its thematic charm, I haven't played a lot of. So, let's move on to turn 20. We're about to hit Conjuration level 3, which will help a lot, and I'll be ready to move in at that point. So, on turn 20, Relay sends me a sarcastic message, and 1 fire gem. I hit Conjuration and Construction. I found 2 magic sites in Ogden Mercs. This was actually really important, or really valuable at least, because the Enchanted Windmill is nice, but the Tower of the Iron Order is a fantastic magic site. I also found a Stone Circle. And why is it fantastic? Because it literally lets you recruit these guys. I mean, it's several gems as well, which is very good, but these guys are just fantastic. Earth, Astral, and then a random. So the Tower of the Iron Order is amazingly valuable. I start recruiting there immediately, and I start building a city palisade immediately. This is especially cool because I had already gotten a laboratory here from a random event. In fact, I think that might have happened, like, last turn or something. But yeah, we got a whole bunch of gems there, 400 gold there, and then we got our Crypties. So we got our Crypties there, and there. Found our Stone Circle, so our gem income spiked this turn as well. Like, just boink. Because the Tower of the Iron Order alone is 4 gems per turn, plus the mage. Yeah, sorry, Ballin. I've got Astral coming out my fucking ears. Between the Iron Order and the Shamans, mind hunting me is a really bad idea. Except for my thugs. Helheim has successfully mind hunted a couple of my thugs out. But in general, like, mine hunting me en masse is dangerous and difficult. So we've got this army organized. We're moving down through Summer Bay. So you can see we've got, like, a decent number of Gigantes, about 20 Gigantes, 18. A mass of various slaves. We've got these guys scripted not to use any gems yet. A lot of strength of giants, a lot of fire darts to not use my fire gems up, because I don't need fire elementals against barbarians. Up here we've got Gratian moving out with another 6 Gigantes, or 5 Gigantes plus some Helots. And overall I'm feeling pretty decent. That one army has moved away, so I know that I can move Biggest Dickus back up. He's also got Dante's Stingers with him, so just a little bit of extra numbers. I'm, you know... At this point with this army, I'm feeling pretty confident about dealing with these Slave Guardians if I have to. I don't want to, but if I have to, I think I probably can. And I'd like to snipe out this province if possible. I've talked to Helheim. He's agreed that I'm going to take Bonelands. And Baratos, which, honestly, I thought it was weird that they agreed so easily. But I imagine it was because they were prepping to fight Hinnom, which, if it's not started happening yet, it starts happening about this time. I think it hasn't happened yet, but it's about to. In terms of research, we're just running down construction. My RP per turn now is, like, getting to be okay, but it's still not good. Not good by any means, because I'm still not really focusing on research. However, I am about to recruit my first Elder Cyclops, and once I get that, I can start forging higher level items, which will be pretty neat. I'm gonna have to cut this short just once my voice starts running out. I haven't talked this much and this fast in a while. So, turn 21, we're going into Summer Bay. Turn 22, we will attack Uzid Yazran. Not sure what Biggest Dickus' army is going to be doing. By the way, Biggest Dickus has just been walking around with this Clam of Pearls for, like, quite a while. I haven't given it to anyone else. I haven't sent it to anyone. It's a really cool item, but I just don't have anyone who can really use it yet, so, it is what it is. So, turn 21. And then I actually did miss turn 22 recording it. I played it, but I didn't get it recorded. So we're going to have to skip straight to turn 23. So, in turn 21, there was a battle in Xibalba, and we're going to watch this first. Xibalba breaks out and attacks Atlantis. And Xibalba breaks out with an Onaki, a whole bunch of bats, including a number of sun guides, a big line of beast bats, which are summons, that Xibalba has, and then a big line of scorpions and sacred scorpions, which are recruitables, and then shades. And this is a really cool, interesting pick. Like, this was a really good choice, because shades, you see, have this steel strength attack, which is armor negating. And it causes weakness, but mainly it's armor negating. So even though it's not a super high quality attack, it completely ignores the main strength of the Basalt Kings, which is that their protection is really, really high. We've also got these Warriors of the Deep, and then these Living Pillars. Living Pillars also have a really high protection. So the Shades was actually an inspired pick at this point, because the Shades pretty much hard counter the stuff that Atlantis is bringing. And they rip their way through these Warriors of the Deep. They rip their way through a lot of the Living Pillars. The Living Pillars, by the way, the full Bless is now in effect. Nat Prop +5, MR +3, Regeneration, Magic Leadership. But yeah, the Living Pillars are hench, but mostly in a way that does not save them from Steel Strength attacks. And so this giant swarm of stuff gets up here. The Basalt Kings are actually routed. I think they're just HP routed from losing all those Living Pillars and stuff. And they get completely surrounded and swarmed. And they just get eaten by the mass of Xibalban troops. And there you go. So Xibalba stands. Xibalba busts out, killing 2 Basalt Kings and a whole bunch of Sacreds. And now, all of a sudden, Xibalba is out once again with a pretty significant army, to be totally honest. We got some random events, some more gems, which is pretty cool. We took Summer Bay back with 0 casualties. Mostly just, yeah, we strengthed people, and then we threw a whole bunch of projectiles in, and then our Gigantes just wiped them out. A lot of the Gigantes are on fire, but they don't mind because they have really high HP totals, so being on fire doesn't really kill them so much. And at this point, I learned that Tir na Nog has been permanently vanquished. At this point, I didn't really know that Tir na Nog was under a lot of threat. So this came to me as something of a surprise. And we lost a scout in Baratos, confirming that the Baratian army was in fact patrolling here. And so now we get our first look at the actual composition of that army. They've got 2 groups of mercenaries, 53 Baratian spearmen, and 41 Colossi warriors. That's a lot of Colossi warriors. So taking a look at the map now. We've got this army, which is pretty significant. And they're now all geared to summon lesser fire elementals. So we've got 4 people spamming lesser fire elementals. We got 2 guys spamming Strength of Giants onto our various troops. We've got a few more troops coming up, and we've got Menotheus the Cryptes with a random rabbit foot charm, giving him Twist Fate, coming up to try and stab somebody in the kidneys. Up here, we've got people sight searching. We've got some troops moving around. We got Bickus Dickus moving over here. I saw this big pile of Slave Guardians, and I was like, do I want to fight that pile of Slave Guardians? No, not really. I don't actually want to fight that pile of Slave Guardians. I would rather just go snipe this wasteland. So we go up this way instead. We decide I'm just going to leave Relay to its own devices. Relay's fine, Relay's chill, whatever. And yeah, we're going to try to push down and take this province here. But the news this turn was definitely Xibalba holding off the hordes and killing 2 more Basalt Kings with basically just the resources of his capital. Foxy absolutely would not surrender. It was an inspiring vision, to be honest. In terms of research, still going down construction. Gonna hit construction level 3 this turn. That will give me Legions of Steel. And Legions of Steel is a great little spell to have. In here, meanwhile, I am forging my first Dwarven Hammer, and I'm beginning Owl Quill production, because I have 7 air gems per turn, and 60 of them in the bank. So this is the point at which my research starts to take off. From turn 21, at turn 21, I'm at 133 research points per turn, which is not much. After this, my increase starts to go way, way up. And I set out on the path to become the research leader, which I do become in like 15 turns, I think, 10 or 15 turns, and I pretty much stay that way for much of the rest of the game. Basically because I'm just forging Owl Quills and then eventually Lightless Lanterns all the time. So we're going to turn 22. That's me actually loading up the actual game, which is not what I want to do. No. Yeah, we're gonna have to go to turn 23. Because I missed, unfortunately, turn 22. So, in turn 22, I moved on to Uzid Yazrin. I don't think a whole lot else notable happened. But in turn 23... I forgot my password. That's what happens in turn 23. In turn 23, I forget how I've capitalized my password. In turn 23, Xibalba sent me some Earth Gems to pay me back for a spear that I'm sending them, a weapon. Helheim claimed a throne, and there was a battle in Baratos. We attack Baratos, which... Basically, I'm just throwing my mercenaries in there, and the reason I'm doing this, if I recall correctly, is to just kind of get rid of them, because they're about to expire, and I don't want anyone else hiring them. and I don't have the money to try and keep them myself. So my mercenaries just kind of charge in, get wiped out. It's fine. They kill, like, 5 guys. Whatever. We're destroying Uzid Yazran. We've got some random events. We got some random gems from Whiteport, and there was another battle in Xibalba. This time it's only one Basalt King, but he is geared more heavily. He's got full armor, he's got braces of protection, holy water, so he's auto-blessed. He's got a coral blade, giving him even more hit points, and he has an ice aegis, so he has cold resistance and a whole bunch of prot from that. From his shield has high prot. Facing off against Province Defense. Hey, Perun. And so the Province Defense jumps in, and hey, would you look at that? The Province Defense, as it turns out, cannot defeat a fully geared Basalt King. Who would have thunk? Right? Like, who would have suspected that a fully geared Basalt King can defeat Province Defense? So I'm rock hard, baby, takes out the Province Defense, reclaims the outer portions of Xibalba. Drain is leaking from... Magic is leaking from the world. Alas. And we are besieging Uzid Yazran. We still have quite a ways to go in terms of breaking down the walls, but I'm feeling pretty good about this, especially because Ulm, last turn, negotiated passage with Helheim, and so Ulm has this massive army bearing down on Baratos. And so I'm like, okay, that seems pretty cool. Maybe Ulm will defeat that army because Ulmish axe warriors are really, really good at killing Colossi warriors. So I'm like, okay, sounds good. Maybe they'll win that battle. Meanwhile, I'm just going to besiege Uzid Yazran and break it down and try to capture it, even though I know for a fact there are at least some Seir in here, which is unfortunate. I was hoping to take it before he started summoning Seir, but I wasn't fast enough. Seirim are a problem, or can certainly be a problem, and we'll just have to see how bad it really is. At this point, I still feel optimistic. I still feel hopeful. I'm like, I think I can do it. I have the Gigantes on my side. What could possibly defeat the Gigantes? I also have 31 random units here in Summer Bay that retreated from something. I forget what exactly. I think he, like, poked somebody out and slapped me, and 31 of my random slaves cried and ran away. And so Antigonus is here. I think I decided to just leave them. Oh, no. I remember why that was. It was because of the supplies. It was because with all these guys here, my troops were starving. Because this is a wasteland that has almost no supply usage. So I was like, I can't afford to have the real low morale. Because my slaves are already low enough morale. Starvation is another -4. I decided I couldn't afford to have that, so I literally took like 30 of them away and dropped them off in Summer Bay. Meanwhile, I've got a whole bunch of Gigantes up there that are going to be coming down. I'm still forging Owl Quills. My research is accelerating precipitously, up to 216, and will continue to go up. Got more troops moving up here to reinforce Biggest Dickus, who is patiently biding his time. I haven't even bothered to defend Bonelands, because I anticipate they'll come take it back any moment. And, yeah, that's basically the news of the turn. About to hit construction level 4 in 2 more turns. And this confrontation is looking pretty interesting. This confrontation is looking interesting. And this confrontation is looking interesting. Oh, hey, Perun, thanks, dude. Appreciate it. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. So now we look at turn 24. And if I recall correctly, this was a pretty big turn. Yes, the hero. I'll show him this turn. It was Encalados. It's a Worthy Heroes edition. This is Encalados pre, craziness. But first and most importantly, we have to look at the battle in Xibalba, because the bats are the most important part of this game. Undeniably, Foxy and his struggle to survive are by far the most valuable. So Foxy is doing something similar to what he did last time. He's got his line of shades. He's got his big line of beast bats. He's got Sizin the Onaki. And he's got an Ajal Kanek, who is geared in black steel full plate that he stole off the body of a dead Basalt King. He's got some Anakom, He's got... Who else does he have by way of commanders? He's got a couple of blood mages. I thought he had a commander who had the, He's got a whole bunch of A'its. The A'itsom are pretty cool, by the way. And he's up against... yes, he has Sega's Hungover Marketing Division, his prophet, the Batab. I don't know where that is, unfortunately. I'm not sure where Sega's Hungover Marketing Division is deployed. But yeah, he's got a lot of A'itsob, and then he's got a lot of Beast Bats, some Scorpions, those kinds of things. He's facing off against 2 Basalt Kings again, including Rock Hard Baby. But, this time they don't have any other units with them. It's just them. It's just those 2 alone. Which is an interesting decision, to say the least. This, by the way, is his Bless. He has a very wide stat Bless. Attack, Defense, Reinvigoration, Magic Resistance, Undying +6, which is kind of neat. Strength, Combat Speed, Unaging, Mountain Survival, HP +1. I think it's full rainbow. I think it's literally a full rainbow Bless. It doesn't, unfortunately, give Beast Bats anything to really fight Basalt Kings with. It does make Sun Guides hit very hard with their Obsidian Shard Blades, which is pretty cool. So they can actually deal some damage. But down here, the Shades surround Gujuk the Basalt King. And they are just, they chop through his magic resistance. He can't really stop them. Unfortunately. He just keeps getting smacked. He's passing the weakness checks, but he's taking a lot of damage. He's down to 12 hit points. Meanwhile, this guy is also getting smacked, albeit less so. So Rock Hard Baby is holding on. He's got a lot of poison built up on him, which is counteracting his regen. But he's still got 50 hit points and 33 prot, so until the Shades can get to him, he might be able to hold on. So now the rout kicks in. Gujuk is routed. Rock Hard is not yet routed. But Gujuk goes down. Rock Hard is still hanging on by the skin of his teeth. He's got some of these Sacred Scorpions on him that are hitting for 19 Pierce, which is pretty decent. And there he goes. He actually dies really, really quickly. I think he takes like 1 random hit for a ton of damage, if I recall correctly. Or did he just die of poison? Yeah, I think he just died of poison, I guess. He took 11 points of steel strength there. He had like over 100 poison built up. But yeah, oh, believe me, during the game I was counting the dead Basalt Kings. It was like 5 at this point. Because he killed at least 1 before this. So, yeah, that's another 2 Basalt Kings down. Basalt Kings, it is worth noting. Capital only, slow to recruit, fucking 445 gold each. Mandar Max has at this point lost 2,000 gold and about 10 turns just in Basalt Kings. It's kind of ridiculous. I'll be honest. Like, I am the person who plays, like, stupid gimmick strategies. At this point, if I had been Mandarb, I probably would have given up on the Basalt King strategy. I'm just saying, it was not working out. It was so not working out. Painful. Agonizing. We found some more magic sites. We found a painted cave, which is astral. We found a hidden gold mine, which is money. I like those. And then, Baratos sallied against me in Uzid Yazran. And so here I am in Uzid Yazran, and I'm like, okay, they're sallying out against me. I've got a pretty decent army. And then I look at their army, and I'm like, ah, shit. They have more Sa'irim than I thought. So, for those who don't know, Sa'irim are terrifying. And there's a couple reasons why. The first is, morale 30, they don't break, they fight to the death. The second is generally good stats. 28 hit points, 13 attack, 16 strength. They do a bunch of damage just based on their stats. The third is Berserker and 3 attacks. So with 3 attacks, size 3, these guys have 6 attacks per square, so good attack density. When they Berserk, they hit like trucks. Each and every one of their attacks goes up to 20 damage. And their prot also goes up to 11, albeit you barely care. Also, they're sacred. Which means they get the bless. whatever the bless happens to be. And Baratos' bless was pretty decent. So Baratos drops his bless. So these guys have the attack skill, the magic resistance, the defense skill, the strength, and the blood surge, which just makes them even better. He's also dropping all his lesser air elementals. On my side, meanwhile, my mages are dropping Phoenix Power, Strength of Giants, all the basic buffs. Now the air elementals are dropping into the middle and getting wrecked. So the air elementals are not doing much by way of damage because the magic weapons of my Gigantes are killing them, and they're too small to trample the Gigantes. But what they are doing is delaying my troops and deranging my formations. So that the Se'irim, who are coming around the flank, don't have much in their way. So like this Se'ir gets to run down here, outright wrecks a mage's day, just right off the bat with one amazing goat demon karate kick. Look at him. The mage explodes and he gets the blood surge buff, so now he's even more dangerous. Meanwhile, my Gigantes are holding in the center, but we're getting flanked. We're getting the hell flanked out of us. These Se'ir are taking a bunch of damage from fighting the fire elementals. Fire elementals are really good at dealing with Se'irim because they have 3 0-length attacks, so they get hit by the fire shield 3 times in a single round. So that was really good, but it's not enough to save me, especially as the second wave of Se'irim start coming in. Up here, the Se'ir have basically been dealt with. There's 3 of them left. I've got a big pile of guys in the middle, but down here the Se'irim are wrapping up my flank, and these Se'irim get around me and my troops break. A lot of them, my troops break and run. The Se'irim run through them and kill my commanders. So the commanders break, and if my commanders hadn't broken, I probably could have still won this. Or rather, with a little bit of luck, I probably could have still won this. Because I still have, actually, the majority of my Gigantes on the board. And my Gigantes are very tough. The enemy have pretty much shot their wad when it comes to summoning lesser air elementals. They've still got a few back here with these Stormcallers, but they'll be summoning very slowly and taking long naps in between. The Se'irim are mostly gone, but unfortunately the rout happens, and after that it is all over but the crying. And the Se'ir, who are fast, run me down as I flee. So, I lose. I kill 20 out of 26 Se'irim. The Se'ir get an astonishing kill count. I kill 1 Baratian Priest and a few random chaff units, and I lose fucking everything. Pretty much all my Gigantes. Pretty much all my mages, much worse. 4 E4s, 1 Archon, and a Gigante. And then most of my chaff. My 1 E4 escapes successfully with 18 units. And beyond that, it is just an absolute massacre. So that was a big problem. That was an issue. That made me sad. Gwelladun, the Plague, is finally going away. Got a few gems there. Some extra attacks from Sinextro. Can I just say that playing with Luck 3 in this game was amazing, and I loved it. And yeah, at this point, it's pretty clear that Baratos is just blood hunting the hell out of their capital. So, like, killing 20 Se'irim, I was looking at that going like, okay, that's, like, I forget exactly how many blood slaves that is. I think they pay 7 slaves for 2, if I'm not wrong. I think that's what it is. So that's like 70 blood slaves, or 50 or 70 or something like that blood slaves. So, yeah, okay, fair enough. That's a lot of blood slaves. But, still, I can't afford a few battles like that. Baratos is doomed, but they're fighting pretty hard for it. Biggest Dickus is still just kind of dicking around down here because he can't go up here and face this. They got too many units. I'm starting to build a fort in New Micria while I bring up more troops, and I'm gathering more troops down here to go down and reinforce the armies in the south to help fight against this. But I'm just kind of being stopped, which is frustrating, but props to Baratos. They are playing a good game. They're holding me off really effectively. Baratos and Xibalba are both just absolutely making their enemies pay for it, and I appreciate that. Like, that is good play right there. Meanwhile, out in the greater world, I still don't have any idea what's going on over here. I'm starting to see a little bit of Agartha. I'm starting to see some Saromatia. I've got a decent idea of the extent of Hinnom, who are not very big. And I've got a decent idea of the extent of Helheim, who are fucking huge and terrifying. And I worry very much about them. And to be honest, at this point, right now, I'm starting to think things like, okay, well, what if I try to, like, make peace with Baratos somehow and turn on Helheim instead, because Helheim scares me. But the problem with it is, I've gone too deep against Baratos for that to work. If I was Baratos, I absolutely would not accept peace offers at this point. I would just be like, nah, fuck you, dude. You made this bed, come lie in it. I've got the air elementals, I've got the demons, I've got all this shit. I'm just gonna fight you until I die, because I know I've already lost, and so I'm gonna make you lose as well. And that's the answer I anticipate, so I actually don't even bother making that effort, making that outreach, because I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm not gonna get it. I'm just gonna have to finish them off before I can deal with Helheim. But at this point, I'm looking at the map and I'm like, okay, so I'm decent, like, I'm in a good position, but I'm not gonna win this. Helheim is probably going to win this, unless something very significant changes. And unfortunately, I am not in a position to make whatever that change has to be happen. So we're just going to keep on rolling. Research, going up to construction level 4, heading down alteration a little bit. Going down to level 4 alteration will give me Swarm. And then down to level 5 will give me Iron Warriors, Maws of the Earth, and Wooden Warriors. All of which are really cool spells that I'll be able to use. I'm going to take a break after Alteration 4, however, once I get the basic Alteration stuff. The other thing that Alteration 4 gives me is, it gives me Iron Skin, it gives me Luck, it gives me Mist Form, and then it gives me Temper Flesh. So all kind of the basic, like, thug buff kind of stuff. And then I'm going to go down Enchantment. And the reason I'm going down Enchantment to level 6 is because Enchantment level 6 gives me Sow Dragon's Teeth. And Sow Dragon's Teeth is a fantastic combat spell. Sow Dragon's Teeth is one of the best in-combat summons in the game. Because Sow Dragon's Teeth summons no fewer than 10 super elite, magical, fearless hoplites with undead resistances but who are not undead, who can't and so cannot be banished, and have magic weapons. Spartae are amazing, and you get a ton of them for one cast. So going down to this is my goal. Once I get this spell, I am confident I can win. Once I get Sow Dragon's Teeth, I am absolutely 100% certain I can roll over Helheim. So at this point, I'm like, okay, so now the thing to do is focus on research, which is why I'm forging 3 Owl Quills per turn. So that's turn 24, and we will go on to turn 25, I think. Once again, Xibalba stands. Xibalba has broken out. They are not large, but they are in charge. They are making their presence felt. They are adding to the kill count. Poor Mandar Max is just absolutely banging his forehead on the wall. I'm struggling with Baratos. It's not going fast. It's not going great. I wish it was better, but it's going. Helheim is definitely number 1 at this point. I'm hearing rumblings about Yomi by now. So I'm hearing that Yomi is in a really strong position, which is what I expect, because Yomi is being played by Herdalas. And Herdalas is a monster of a player. Like, Herdalas is really, really good. And he loves Yomi, and he's good with them. So, like, when I hear that Herdalas is doing really well with Yomi, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Checks out. So I'm kind of anticipating right now that what's going to happen is I will slowly crush Baratos. By the time I do that, it will be like, in terms of major players, it'll be me over here, Helheim here, Yomi over here somewhere. I don't know what the status of Saromatia is, and I don't know what the status of Pangaea is. I know Pangaea is somewhere in this region, so I don't know how big they are. I know Hinnom is fairly small, so I'm not sure what's going to happen to them. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if Hinnom rolls over them while I'm busy eating the rest of Baratos. And I know that Ulm is a decent size right now, but Ulm is quite a new player. So I'm like, I'm not thinking that that Ulm is gonna make it to the end game. I think he's mostly just kind of here having fun learning stuff. And, like, I'm looking at this, and I'm like, okay, so, comparatively speaking, I don't think, having thought about it, I don't think this army is going to win against this army. I think at any time, Baratos can basically just roll out and wipe this, and this is most of Ulm's combat power at the moment. Alright, Imperialis, thanks for joining us, dude. So, I'm thinking that, I love Ulm. I love early age Ulm. They are a strong contender for my favorite early age nation, but they're not top tier. They're not the most, they're not the nation with the mostest. They're cool, they have some cool gimmicks, I think they're fun, but against some of the stuff that Baratos or Helheim or Hinnom or Yomi, for that matter, can pull off, they'll struggle. So, we'll see. So let's head on to turn 25, shall we? I'm just going to keep rolling, probably for another 20 minutes or so, and we'll see how we do. Yeah, once again, I'm sorry that the homeworld stream was not working out, but I've got to figure out why it's crashing before I can really do anything. So we got attacked in Summer Bay. I kind of expected this. I had a bunch of troops just sitting there with no real commanders. I put in some province defense so they could fight a little bit. And they did actually kill a Stormcaller, which is more than I expected. Like, the fact that a Stormcaller died was, to me, really cool. I was like, yes, perfect. Fantastic. I think, actually, the Stormcaller died because this Brazen Bull burned it to death with their heat aura. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I don't think I killed it. Because they're just summoning lesser air elementals, trampling everybody but yep. He lit on fire. He burned to death. Fantastic. Herodolus, just to be clear, I'm not recognizing Yomi as a legitimate nation because I think Yomi is itself a strong nation. It's because it's being played by a strong player who specifically knows a lot about the nation. And that can make any nation good. Like, it really can. I personally think Yomi is still probably not the bottom of the barrel, but, like, fairly low down on the list in early age. But if you know how to use their strengths, yeah, they can work. Like, they have some real distinct strengths. They just have more weaknesses, if that makes sense. So yeah, we lost Summer Bay. We found some gems there. We lost a scout in Baratos. They're not patrolling with nearly as much now. We finished our palisade in Ogden Mercs, so now our recruitment of Adepts of the Iron Order will be accelerated, which is great. And Ulm's army has pulled back. Which is a little sad for me, because I was kind of hoping you would stay there and, like, block and prevent this army from coming up and pushing in my shit, head for my capital. That would be bad. I've recruited 2 groups of mercenaries because my income is pretty high, so I can do that. So I've got Gunther Bluecraft, I've got Bernard the Brave, I've got Menotheus the Elder Cyclops. And we're rolling back down here. This, by the way, is Enceladus. This is my hero that I said I would show you and then forgot for 4 turns in a row. This is Enceladus the First Gigante. He is basically a slightly improved Basilios. The big thing he has over other Basilioi is that he's Holy 3. He's decent. He's pretty cool. But, he's nice. I like him. He's a good boy. He is fast because of my Bless, so he's got the Map Move 20. And, he's got, like I said, he's a mobile Holy 3. He's got high paths in various elements. And he has reasonably high leadership. He has 175 leadership with a +3 squad morale bonus. So he's pretty neat. And yes, if you want to summon Green Lions, he can summon Green Lions. I don't think I ever have summoned Green Lions. It just never popped on my radar. But it's an option. So we've got this little army up in Summer Bay. We've got this little army down here in Uzid Yazran. Menotheus is going to assassinate somebody. He's just going to stab a fool with his dagger. And we've got some more troops coming on down. In terms of research is picking back up again. I've had to pull some mages off of research, but it's still going alright. And I'm starting to build up a couple of Archons. So I got an Archon over here who's Earth 3, which is pretty neat. I've got... I have another Archon somewhere. I've got more Archons. I've got Asaios still up here site searching. I got Atlas and his troops moving up to New Micria, where we are building a temple, as well as the city palisade, and we're going to build a lab. So we're setting up a fort here to help prosecute the war against Baratos. We still got this giant pile of slave guardians sitting off the coast, which, worries me a little bit. But, you know, we'll see how that goes. I'm kind of on a truce with Relay right now. Like, I don't think we have if I recall correctly, we don't have a non-aggression pact. We're just not fighting each other because we're doing other things. And we don't really want to be involved in the bullshittery of a land-water war because that's annoying. Hey, Foxy, this is Shibalba, Foxy Dean, right there. The man who stood. The man who stands. The man who killed, like, all of the Basalt Kings. There's fucking another one. Mandar Max just like, I'll fucking do it again, you watch me. Mandar Max knows no other strategy. To clarify, Mandarb is a really good player. Just in this game, he decided he was gonna do the Basalt King thing, like, come what may. And he went all in on it. And I just don't know, dude. I just don't know. So, we got all our stuff. We're moving down. We're getting ready to retake Summer Bay, push in on Uzid Yazran again. We're grabbing that Alteration 4, and then we're going to go down Enchantment. Over here, in terms of what we can see, not a whole lot. We can still see this little independent province in Hinnom's cap circle that they have not managed to take, which I think is hilarious, personally. Up here, not a whole lot seems to be happening in the area that I can see, except for these two wars. The war here, and the war here. The coastal wars, as it were. So let's hop into turn 26. And yes, those are one of the special indies. They're very special indeed. Menotheus stabbed a guy, which is pretty cool. Crypties are not bad, to be honest. We hit Alteration level 3. Searched for magic sites, didn't find any of them. A whole bunch of unexpected events. We found 1,200 gold in Halemire. Like, okay, this shit is why I play Luck 3 these days, right? Because I've been getting... Like, I get bad events, sure, but, like, every turn, I've been getting at least, like, 5 to 10 gems for free, and then every now and then you get this shit. And this actually goes... This goes a shockingly long way towards mitigating Makone's weaknesses. Because Makone's, like, one of Makone's big weaknesses is just economics. Just not having stuff to do stuff with. And this kind of stuff really helps with that. So, like, my gems are actually pretty good. Like, I have pretty decent gem stockpiles all the way across the board. And I have a lot of money. And I can spend that money doing stuff, building stuff, and recruiting stuff. I don't know why this guy was on defense. I think I had him forging something or something. I've got some items in the treasury there. A lot of these recordings were made, and then I went back in and made minor adjustments, set people to research, gave people quills, that kind of stuff. But my research is still picking up, albeit slowly. I've got a decent-sized army here, and I'm gathering a bunch more troops behind it. I'm starting to send in some shamans, although I'm not using my shamans in war heavily yet. And Menotheus is going to sneak away so he doesn't get patrolled out. He does. We do have another Grippa Seir in here, which is a little unfortunate, but we'll see how it goes. We're going to retake Summer Bay, get that income back, and then we're going to try to put Uzid Yazran under siege again. One reason I'm doing this is because I forget how much population is in this province, and I don't want them blood hunting it. Like, if they're blood hunting their cap, I can't do anything about that. But I can do something about them blood hunting here. And I can also, you know, cut off the income from it, starve them of money, hopefully make some of their troops start to desert, maybe. I don't know. You know, whatever it is that we're doing. In terms of globals, right now, nobody has any globals. Globals will start coming up pretty soon. Like, by turn 30-ish or something, we'll start seeing globals. But I'm just still recruiting, just pumping out troops. Pumping out Gigantes from my capital, getting more Gigantes now from my other forts. This fort will be done next turn. I'm building a lab to correspond with that, and Biggest Dickus is taking his army, which is now a respectable size, up to Kark, so we can once again threaten Baratos and hopefully force them to do something with some of their troops. Also, a whole bunch of troglodytes came in and took this province away from Relay, which I think is really funny, personally. So, turn 27. Turn 27, we dropped Blessing of the Godslayer on my first Polemarch. Semiosis, who I will rename shortly, but Blessing of the Godslayer gives him +5 attack and defense, and I think it also gives him something else? I forget what all else Blessing of the Godslayer does. It gives you Halt Heretic, which is pretty cool against somebody who's using a lot of Sacreds. And, I've given Semiosis some gear, so I gave him a Frostbrand, I gave him Elemental Armor, a Girdle of Might, and Boots of the Messenger, so he has decent reinvigoration, so he's fatigue neutral. Resistance to pretty much all elements, plus good damage, and he's fast. So, decent kind of early mid-game thug. He's moving down here to join the party. Summer Bay has been taken with no real casualties. And we got another, see, look at this, we got another 400 gold in Giant Woods, and we finished our city palisades in Numicria. So now we are once again recruiting even more mages up here. We got to get one E4, because you always got to have an E4 in a fort if you are Makone. Biggest Dickus is just sitting here, because I see these guys coming, and I'm like, do I want to bump with Relay over this shitty little province? No. Do I want to move up here and get owned by 200 Baratian units? No. I just want to sit here and look vaguely threatening, and, like, not die. Meanwhile, Menothius is going to sneak back in here because Atlantis. Okay, so around this time, Mandarb and I were chatting about Baratos. And he was like, alright, I've geared up Speedwagon the Basalt King. I want to test him out against Seirim. So I was like, okay, yeah, go ahead, sure, whatever. I mean, I'm not set up to attack it anyway, so yeah, go ahead and attack Uzid Yazrin and see if you can fight the Seer with your Basalt King. And so he moved in, and he attacked Uzid Yazrin, and there was nothing there. They were all in the fort. They didn't do anything. He's just sitting there like, well, okay, here I am. Meanwhile, I am gathering troops. I'm going to gather a huge army at Summer Bay, and be prepared to launch my own second attack on Uzid Yazrin. In terms of research, I'm still a long way away from Enchantment 6. Maybe, I'm thinking, hopefully I can get there, but it's going to take a little while. Meanwhile, Helheim continues to be huge. I think they are now at war. If I recall correctly, it looks to me like there's fighting going on over here, like the borders are shifting mysteriously between Helheim and Hinnom. If they're not actively at war, they know they're going to war. Which is why we have an army of 7 units consisting of mainly Melkarts here in the Cracked Earth. Because Helheim is going full Melkart on us. So we will get to see some hot Melkart on Hellherding action coming up pretty shortly. Meanwhile, up here, there is a single Basalt Queen. One Basalt Queen waiting in green marshes, facing off against the glorious and ever-victorious Shabalban army. The Shabalban army that has never been defeated in defense of Shabalba. And we'll see what happens with that. Atlantis has got a nice little fort here in Mysia, which I'm fine with. I don't mind that. I'm just being friendly and neighborly with everybody except for Baratos at this point. So, turn 28. Not a lot happened in that turn. Turn 28. We have hit enchantment level 4, heading up to enchantment level 5. We found a couple more magic sites, found a copper idol, so air gems. Totem collection, so astral. Wolf Oak, so nature in Whiteport. And Ancient Temple, so more astral in Edoral. There was a battle in Xibalba. In Xibalba, once again, 2 Basalt Kings come in to attack Xibalba. They are actually less geared than the last 2 Basalt Kings who came in to attack Xibalba. As before, they run into a whole bunch of province defense, which they win, which they beat. Basalt Kings beat province defense. Now, okay, so this is a development. This is an enhancement of Mandarb's tactics. He's casting Fire Shield, and he talked about this, about how bitterly he regretted not doing this earlier. Casting Fire Shield counters the Shades, because the Shades' life drain attack is 0 range, so they take full Fire Shield damage if they try to use it on Basalt Kings, and because they have no protection, and they only have 10 HP, they get wiped out. So Fire Shield counters the Shades completely. He should have done this before, but he didn't. But now he is. So that's good for him. So he's countering one of the things that Xibalba has been doing to him, and he's hoping that that will be enough to let these 2 win the battle. It also counters beast bats pretty well. So once again, he takes out the province defense. In Binafay, I got some gems. In Umador, I got another 8 gems. I killed an Olmish warrior scout, and I lost a scout to Ulm in Summer Edge. This is where Ulm's army went, by the way. And he's got a hero chief, which is a multi-hero from the Worthy Heroes pack. And he has got Athelwulf, the Maker of Heroes, who is, I believe, actually, Athelwulf is a... he's a vanilla hero, isn't he? Anyway, Athelwulf is really, really good. He gives you Astral Earth Cross Path, he gives you Death and Nature, he's very solid for early age Ulm. But yeah, this is a pretty decent-sized Ulmish army. And no other actual major battles. But yeah, so Ulm has built a fortress here in Summer Edge, and that's where their army is. Meanwhile, the Baratian army has moved out in their direction, ignoring Bigus Dickus and his relatively small army. So insulted, Bigus Dickus is moving up here to threaten Baratos to get them to come back, yada, you know, we're doing the dance. We're doing the dance that we've been doing. And Speedwagon, the Basalt King, is still just sitting on Uzid Yazrin, just hanging out, twiddling his thumbs, chilling, having a good time. In Summer Bay, I think I'm rehiring, yeah, I just rehired all those mercs. So all these mercs are sitting in there. I'm getting all these mages down here, including this guy, who will be renamed, like I said. So we're gathering up a moderately hench army of our own. We need some more earth gems and stuff to make it really, really badass, but like I said, I still have a few turns to go with the enchantment. 2 more turns to hit level 5, then after that, probably another 2 or possibly 3 to hit enchantment level 6. More giants coming down to join us with Hermos, who is an Earth 3 Archon. And yeah, things are going pretty decent. Most of my Iron Order adepts are out site searching right now, but I do have this guy sitting here, and he's got a crystal coin. And the reason I'm doing this is because my Astral Pearl income is actually pretty good. And with one of these guys carrying Astral Boosters, I'm pretty confident later on in the game with my ability to dispel whatever global spell I need to. Because I just don't have a whole lot of other stuff that I'm spending Astral Pearls on. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, if I give this guy a Crystal Coin and a Starshine Skullcap, he's Astral 5. And if an Astral 5 person casts Dispel with like 60 or 70 pearls behind it, they can knock down pretty much any global unless it's been massively overcast. And I already have 60 pearls, and I will have more than that pretty soon. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to keep one of these guys hovering around here with the high astral, waiting for somebody to put up a global that I don't like, so that I can knock it down. In the meantime, still forging more air quills, still ramping up the RP. My RP are still not, like, super high, but we're getting there. We're working on it. We're advancing. Fegus is also casting Cloud Trapeze to jump down and join this army, bringing some air gems with him. so that we can do the air elemental thing as well to counter Baratos' air elemental thing. And that's part of my plan, part of my 3-step plan to counter the Buritian army. In the greater world, nothing's really changing. We've got more troops gathering in the cracked earth. Hinnom is clearly getting ready to fight Helheim. Over here, haven't seen a whole lot. We're seeing slightly more of Agartha. We have now found Pangaea. We've got the border of Pangaea. Still don't know what's going on over here, but I'm definitely hearing rumblings that Yomi is coming down this way, I believe, if I recall correctly. That was the story I was hearing. So Yomi is clearly at this point quite big, because they've taken out Fomoria, they've taken out Tir na Nog, possibly with someone else's help. I wasn't clear on the story at this point. But they, like, I'm picturing Yomi as having, like, this territory, essentially, which is pretty fucking big. Like, that's a significant army. And yes, Thictar the Death by Lust is a very good name, I'll be honest. The Gigantist was just kind of lazy on my part. Like, it's just, yeah, it's the Gigantist. Like, what do you want? I'm sorry, Confusedist. This is not a family-friendly Christian stream. I do swear here. It is what it is. My parents don't like it either, but it's just how it goes. Can I also just say, one thing that I really enjoy about Makone is the fact that their like, fort defense is hilarious. Like, you just straight up get Giganti hoplites as fort defense. I love it. I love that. Alright, turn 29. Let's take a look-see at it. So, multiple battles here in turn 29. We did cast Cloud Trapeze, which is cool. First and most important, the battle in Xibalba. So, in the blue corner, we have once again the dynamic duo. Atlantis is trying their favorite strategy over and over and over again. Pompadour the Basalt King and Sacred Earth the Basalt King coming in hard, weighing at God only knows how many pounds. And in the red corner, the reddish-blackish corner, we have the army of Xibalba, ever victorious, never defeated. Whole bunch of beast bats, whole bunch of scorpions, whole bunch of shades. They have an Anakom, they have Sizin the Kingslayer, the Onaki, and this time he is geared to the nines. Ring of Fire, Flask of Holy Water, Ranger's Boots, Full Plate Black Steel Helmet, Black Steel Tower Shield, and a Godslayer Spear that I sold them, because it does fatigue damage to Sacreds. He's carrying a couple of Death Gems. And then he's got a whole bunch of mages, a whole bunch of Anakom. He's got some Blood Slaves this time, because he started blood hunting his capital when he had the time, when he broke out. Alright, let's see how this one goes, shall we? So, first of all, he summoned some lesser air elementals, and the Basalt Kings are susceptible to shock. So, Sacred Earth just gets stunned right away. Like, right off the bat, a lesser air elemental stuns Sacred Earth. He gets over it, but for a little while there, his defense skill is 0, and so he takes way more damage than he really should take. Pompadour has defense skill 0 also, but just because he's been harassed down to 0. There's still one lesser air elemental active, and so they'll be able to get at least one more good blast off. The Basalt Kings are meanwhile buffing their own prot. It's not helping them a huge amount, because, like, prot is not the problem here. Sizin the Kingslayer isn't quite able to reach them, and honestly, the Godslayer Spear wouldn't deal a whole lot of damage anyway, it would just deal fatigue. But these Basalt Kings are, at this point, just fatiguing out. Like, this guy's already up to 87, this guy's at 80. And now Pompadour is stunned. This tiny little 1 HP size 1 air elemental, he's got one more lightning swarm left in him. But yeah, the armor negating damage is being a big problem. Pompadour is down to 26 HP. Sacred Earth is at 38, but it's about to fatigue out. they're doing better this time. The fire shield is really, really helping them. But now Sizzin the Kingslayer has gotten in there. Unfortunately, Sizzin takes one slap and decides that he would rather be somewhere else. He takes one 16 damage hit and is just like, nope, fuck that, I'm out. I would rather be elsewhere. I don't think I want to fight Basalt Kings, actually. Bye! And we now have some lesser fire elementals coming in, which have flame strikes. The Basalt Kings do have fire resistance, so it won't be super effective, but at this point, their morale has broken. They've taken enough collective damage, they've failed some morale checks, they are ready to go. So the Shibalban army just swarms around them, until eventually, I think they cut their way out. Yeah, I think their regeneration stands them in good stead, and they do cut their way out and flee. And there they go. So they got out, and I think they live. Or do they die from rout damage? Yeah, they live. They get out. So they succeed in escaping. But I believe they died in retreat. Because, like, it's possible, I guess, one of them, they landed here, in one of these provinces. But they had a 50% chance to die in retreat there, and I prefer to believe that they died in retreat. Oh, Mandarb's saying one of them did, so okay, one of them died in retreat. Meanwhile, in Uzid Yazrin, Baratos attacked Atlantis, but the Basalt King had already gotten bored. So this is the hilarious thing here, alright? This giant army moved up to Uzid Yazrin to attack Speedwagon. Speedwagon, meanwhile, moved down to try and attack the giant army. And because this army is very small, technically only one unit, he missed. He just walked right past them. So he ended up in Koromu. These guys ended up in Uzid Yazrin, very confused. No one knows what's just happened. I'm sitting up here with my army like, oh wait, I wasn't ready for that. Hold on. Hold the phone. just hang on a second. And Speedwagon standing down here like, where did all the enemies go? I'm in the wrong place. Meanwhile, I actually got to see a battle that's happening somewhere else in the meantime. Specifically, I got to see 1,000,000 white centaurs. An absolute 1,000,000 white centaurs just ride down some poor, helpless Saromatian province defense. I saw that battle, I was like, what is this? Why? Why, God? I was looking at this like, what in the name of all that is holy does Pangaea need to have 85 white centaurs in one place for? $85 is a lot of white centaurs. Pangaea's bless, by the way, is once again a wide bless, and they've gone with larger. So larger white centaurs are an interesting thing. White centaurs are size 3. So if you make them larger, they become size 4, which means you only get 1 per square. In many ways, that's bad, because it means you get less attack density. On the other hand, there are some countervailing considerations. For one thing, larger white centaurs have more hit points and they occupy more space. So if you're trying to, like, fill a battlefield and, you know, not let yourself get flanked, that's helpful. For another thing, white centaurs have high enough stats and do enough damage that they can usually, like, fight a square's worth of enemies by themselves. Because when you're a cavalry unit with 19 defense and 29 hit points and 17 strength and 2 attacks, like, a square full of infantry isn't a real big deal. Also, When you get up to size 4, your weapons get an effective length bonus of 1, which means these bronze lances are now length 4, and that means these white centaurs can repel with them. And especially once they go berserk and activate their blood surge, their attack will go up by a total of +6, which will make it 19. Attack 19 bronze lances at length 4 will repel a lot of attacks. Like, really a lot of attacks. Aren't white centaurs cavalry? I thought they were cavalry. Hold on. Nope, they're not. Never mind. They're not cavalry. But even so. I mean, really, whether they get the harass bonus or not, 19 defense enables you to block a lot of shots. And like I said, okay, so we're up to attack skill 20 now. Berserk, Blood Surge, Bless bonus, Experience bonus. Yeah, with attack skill 20, this guy can just repel a lot of attacks that come in. Brong. No, repel is an attack check. So here's the way repel works. Someone attacks you. And before you ever, I think it's, I don't know what order it is, but either before or right after you make a defense check, if you have a longer weapon, you can make an attack check. If you make the attack check, then the enemy has to make a morale roll. If they fail the morale roll, they just don't attack you. If they succeed at the morale roll, they get to attack you, but they take damage first. Because they're literally like pushing past your spear. So high attack skill makes repels a lot more effective. This is incidentally why, like, Lemurian Centurions with an enchanted pike are monstrously efficient thugs, because a Lemuria Centurion has a high base attack skill, is sacred, so can have an attack skill bonus, and has magic power, so it can get +3 attack skill just from being in magic scales. So you can have a Centurion, and then the enchanted pike, which is length 5, or maybe 6, I think it's 5, gives an attack bonus. So you can have a Centurion with, like, attack skill 30, who is just repelling everything. And is ethereal, so 3/4 of attacks miss anyway. And that's, like, a legitimate, actual dangerous thug with exactly one piece of gear. Plus, they're immortal, so if they die, they just respawn back at your capital. Also, I'm pretty sure, because you can see how they wear their armor and stuff, I'm pretty sure they would wear the pants right here. Like, I'm thinking, because see, they got the shirt, they got the hat, and they got the little skirt thing on their armor, so I think the pants would just go right down here on the front legs. Pretty sure. And yes, I know that doesn't actually do anything for modesty, but, like, do you really think that centaurs are wearing pants for modesty? Really? Is that what you think they do? They're in Pangea. I don't think they know what modesty is. Or if they do, they think it's some kind of, like, vulgar foreign tradition. Like, modesty out of centaurs? Really? Nah. Found a whole bunch more gems. Also, I found a pocket ship. Yeah, I just randomly got a pocket ship in this completely landlocked province. For no reason. I just got a pocket ship. There it is. Lost some tax there. Got a high priest and a whole bunch of random chaff there, which is fine. So, yeah, this is kind of an interesting situation where we're all just sort of staring at each other like, what now? I decide that I'm just going to stand in Summer Bay and not attack and hope that Speedwagon comes up here and fights them. Meanwhile, up here, Shibalba stands. Once again, they have broken free yet further. My fort in Numicria is churning out mages, churning out some gigantes. And since I'm up here, and I'm like, I see this army way up here, and I'm like, well, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna besiege Baratos, because why not? Like, they can't stop me. They're too far away. I'm just gonna go besiege Baratos. And I'm also going to hire... Well, no, I've already got those mercenaries. I thought I was hiring some mercenaries. Maybe that's next turn. But, yeah, since this army has moved far enough away, I'm going to engage the ping-pong protocol and hope that they either move down here or, like, I just don't want them to attack me at Summer Bay. If they do, I'm like, okay, we can try it, but, yes, Baratos can sail, but they can't get past, like, that's a land province. That's not an ocean province. So, in order to sail, they would have to move through 1, 2, 3, 4 provinces, which wouldn't work. Like, they can't reach from here to here with sailing. Because that province is land, and it's also owned by Relay. In world news, so I can now see that there is, like, you know, this giant army of White Centaurs, which has instantly exploded this fortress, because White Centaurs, in addition to everything else they have, also have a ton of siege strength. So, I'm looking at Sarmatia, and I'm like, okay, so, when I look at Sarmatia, just, obviously I don't have the full picture, but I see Pangaea, Agartha, Hinnom, Helheim, and I'm thinking, okay, Sarmatia's not long for this world, because they look pretty freaking surrounded. That's my judgment. Helheim, meanwhile, still of course looks huge and horrifying, and I hate them. But I can't fight them right now. That is not something that is within the realm of possibility. I must hold my ground, I must maintain the course, and try to take out Baratos. Did I ever see Sarmatia at its largest? I did not. I never saw Sarmatia until they were already, like, pretty much heading on the way to dead. I'm gonna hit enchantment level 5 this turn. Stop that. I'm gonna hit enchantment level 5 this turn, which will give me not much. It will give me Thunder Ward, it will give me Watchers, which I can actually cast with some boosting. It will give me Foul Vapors, but I can't really cast it. And I really need to get up to level 6. That will give me statues, Sow Dragon's Teeth, Riches from Beneath, all kinds of cool stuff. So, that's turn 29. Let's hit turn 30, and then my voice is getting real scratchy. I might call it there, to be honest. So, we assassinated the Stormcaller. This cryptid, Menotheus is good at his job. Like, Menotheus is just going ham. He's got that rabbit foot charm, and he doesn't give a shit. This guy up here summoning a lesser air elemental, Menotheus just runs up and stabs him in the neck. And then he beats the air elemental to death. Look at this Chad. Absolute monster. Fantastic. I love it. Menotheus is a good man. Found a magic site in Summer Bay. And then we were attacked in Summer Bay. So, we killed one Stormcaller. It did not prevent them from moving the army out. They have not really reinforced their Seir contingent, but they've reinforced everything else. They've reinforced the hell out of everything else. So, they've got a huge passel of Colossi warriors. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4 brides-in-waiting with a whole bunch of gems. They've got some Stormcallers, 3 Stormcallers right there. They've got a whole bunch of Chaff Infantry out front, and they have a Brazen Bull, which is one of their multi-heroes. Brazen Bulls are okay, they're not great. They're Blood Mages, which is kind of nice, but they're like, they're Meanwhile, facing off against them, I have a smaller but still fairly formidable army. A lot of mages. I've got Menotheus the Elder Cyclops. I've got my Archon there with air gems. I've got Antigonus with some earth gems. This Archon who has no gems, which is a crippling problem. I've got Simosius the Polemarch, who is blessed by the Godslayer. I've got Granicos the Archon, Antiphene the Archon. Got this E4, got a line of chaff up front, my mercenaries on the flanks, and a big pile of Gigantes. And I'm looking at this before the battle replay starts. I look at this and I go, okay, they're going to spam lesser air elementals at me. But I think I might be able to hold, because, like, these guys will not make much of an impression on Gigantes. These guys can hurt Gigantes. But I've got some fire elementals, I've got my buff spells that will push me up to prot, like, on these guys will push them up to prot 23, 28 damage a stab. I'm looking at this and I'm like, maybe. Unlikely, but like it's possible. At the very least, I'm gonna do a whole bunch of damage. That's what I'm thinking. And then I'm like, oh god, oh no, oh fuck. They have full-sized air elementals and everything immediately goes to hell. Because full-sized air elementals, like small air elementals, do not tear up Gigantes. Full-sized air elementals can tear up Gigantes, and specifically, they can tear up the mages that are behind the Gigantes. So my Gigantes go charging in, they're getting trampled, my troops are getting trampled, it is absolute chaos in the middle of the map. There's all kinds of flaming arrows going in. My mages are back here not really doing much, partially shell-shocked from being assaulted by the air elementals. Simotheus the Polemarch charges in the back and gets kind of hung up, just sort of wandering around. He's all kinds of buffed. He's ethereal, he's got Prot 29, he's ready to go. And we do actually make it to where I want to be. We've got the line battle, but we just don't have the numbers anymore. We just do not have the numbers to deal with the Colossi Warriors, which aren't quite as good as my Gigantes, but they have more of them. And they're leaking around the flanks and getting back to the mages, and my mages are like, alright, I see how this is going. Peace out. I'm leaving. Including Simotheus, who didn't ever actually get a kill. He got up to the front line, and then he looked around and was like, ah, I see, we're fucked. And he turns and runs. And we ignominiously flee the field of battle. So, that's that. Now, we did kill a whole bunch of their chaff. We killed more than 100 units, and we killed their Brazen Bull. And we didn't actually lose much by way of mages. We lost one shaman. But we also lost about 40 mixed Gigantes. So it's like, once again, we're in this kind of interesting and frustrating situation where it's like, every time we fight a battle with Baratos, we inflict casualties. And it's not like we've lost a ton, but we lost the battle, and we got pushed back, which means now I have to spend another, like, 3 or 4 turns just gathering shit and putting it back together and marching it forward, and, it's just frustrating. Like, I'm not about to lose the game over this. In fact, I'm not even going to lose the war with Baratos. This is, this is Baratos kicking against the pricks, as it were. But it's well done, and it is just slowing me down. And in Dominions, as we've seen many, many times, if you've watched videos by me, or by Perun, or by Lucid, or anybody, if you're slowed down too much in Dominions, you lose. Like, that's how it works. Succeeding in late-game Dominions depends on you having built up momentum early on. And so, if you lose your momentum because this happens to you 2 or 3 times, then you're like, you get to turn 50, and you're just not in a position to win anymore. So, but that's okay. In Baratos, we moved in, lost a bunch of Helot Peltists, wiping out a ton of province defense, but we took the province. And so we are now besieging Baratos. And that's not particularly useful because, like I think I can actually take Baratos, but it's useful because it means that Baratos cannot recruit, and they're getting half income from Baratos. So, for every turn that I'm here, their income is dramatically cut. Like, actually, right now, they have no income, because both of their forts are under siege. So, their income is cut, and they can't recruit any mages. We're just winning the economic war, because I have an economy, and they don't. So, losing that battle is like, that sucks, but they can't stop me. So, we're just gonna pull everybody back into the capital, recruit some more stuff, research some more stuff. Enchantment level 6 will be done in 3 turns, and then we're going in with the Sparte, and at that point we will win. Also, Speedwagon is here. He's been joined by Mr. Muck, the Basalt King, and the 2 of them are besieging Uzid Yasrin. At this point, also, there's 2 more Basalt Kings besieging Xibalba. Again, we have seen that before. We've got Sacred Earth has come back, and he is joined by Pompadour. So they're besieging Xibalba for the 4th time. Xibalba hasn't even bothered to put the heavy province defense here anymore. They're just like, it'll be fine, whatever. But Mandarb is not giving up. Mandarb is constitutionally incapable of giving up. And here, Pangaea attacks Saromatia at, I believe, their fort. I think this is them storming the fort. Yeah, they storm the fort. They've got some war elephants in here, and they've got some Inaris, along with a warrior sorceress and a spirit guides. They communion up. This lancer is bravely charging forward into the huge mass of white centaurs, and the Inaris start casting Horde of Skeletons. Horde of Skeletons is actually a surprisingly decent counter to masses of white centaurs like this, just because you don't care if they die, and white centaurs are not super tanky. So Prot 12, 29 hit points, you can stab through that. So, yeah, the Inaris just shit out a ton of skeletons, and they cannot stop the white centaurs. Not by any means. But they can kill a few of them, and they do. So these white centaurs, who are abandoned by their friends, by the way, I just have to mention, that right there, where all those white centaurs were clumped up against the walls, that is why when you attack a fortress, you tell your guys to attack rear. If you tell them to attack closest, they will try to go up on the walls, but only one unit or one square can be attacking the enemy on the walls at a time, and so there will be several turns where your whole army is piled up by the stairs, not doing anything. If you tell them to attack rear, they will go back here, and they will kill all the mages and commanders, and then the guys on the walls will rout anyway, and then they will start coming down, and so you can kill them more easily. The 20 kills that these guys got are purely because the white centaurs were all stacked up here, and so there was a small number of white centaurs facing a pile of skeletons for several rounds. And so they died. If they had all gone to the back at first, it would have been like almost no casualties. Also this shit, for some reason, and I don't actually understand what happened. I mean, they were casting Frighten, but I wouldn't have thought that Frighten would have had this effect. Anyway, like 90% of the white centaurs just rout. The only ones that stay are the ones that are already berserk. So the white centaurs run the hell away, and then the few berserkers who remain clean up everything. There's like 5 of them at the end. But Saromatia almost won that. Like, really, really came close. And if Saromatia had won that battle, I would have laughed forever. But as it was, they lost it by the skin of their teeth. The Inaris, man, these 6 Inaris were bravely just spamming Frighten, and it nearly worked. It came so close. I think, hold on, I need to check. I think most of the white centaurs were actually off the map. Like, yeah, because it's just a tiny line of white centaurs holding off all these skeletons. And they just hold them and die slowly. And these guys come over, they're spamming Frighten and Terror, throwing it into the mass. And yeah, then the mass just runs. And they are off the map. They are gone. They are gone, baby, gone. Oof. So yeah, 20 white centaurs dead. That's a good 1,000 gold. 1,100 gold. And then, of course, that happened here. So, okay, so yeah, they got to stay. They didn't run into another province and die during retreat, which would have been hilarious. But still, 20 white centaurs dead. That's a little painful. That's kind of an oof moment. Meanwhile, Hinnom here is gathering an army of fiery imps, led by all his Melkarts, in order to fight against the evil encroachment of the elves, I presume. Like, that's the only reason this army would be here. But, and I, of course, lost my army there, Speedwagon's here, I'm anticipating they're pulling back, which is why Semiosis and Shahar are going back in. Shahar is going to body Ethereal him. He's going to Stone Skin, Temper Flesh, Fire Shield. That will make him really tough, and then he can fight. And like I said, I'm anticipating this army is going back here. But if they push forward, he'll take the province. All these guys will be out of the way, so like they'll just kill some province defense and won't matter. But, yeah, this is where the game stands on turn 30. I'm big, stretched out, not in the best strategic position, but big. My research is quite good. 500 RP per turn on turn 30 is solid. And you can see, if you look at my graph, how that has really accelerated since I started mass-producing quills. I am still forging 2 quills per turn there, and I think I'm forging more somewhere else. I forget where exactly. My gem income is also quite strong. 17, 23, 30, 36 gems per turn right now, which, for the turn 30, 36 gems per turn is pretty solid. Nobody has cast any globals yet, which is a little late, actually. I kind of would have expected... I was expecting Mother Oak to go up pretty much every single turn. I'm just waiting for it. And I'm looking at this. At this point, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to hit enchantment 6 in 3 turns. I've got a bunch of earth gems. Like, what if I just go up to enchantment 7 and cast Earthblood Deepwell? Because, I mean, it's turn 30. My god is going to be waking up, like, soon. So what if just the turn my god wakes up, because my god is an NE statue? What if I just cast Earthblood Deepwell and see what happens? At which, you know, we'll see what happens there when I get to it. I'm still recruiting more indie mages. Doing pretty good. As Perun just said in chat, the only thing that isn't entirely satisfactory about this position right now is that Baratos is still slowing me down. Ulm... Not sure where Ulm's army is at this juncture. It may still be here in Summer Edge. Ulm has kind of become a little bit passive over the last few turns. Like I said, he's a new player. He's kind of figuring it out as he goes along, and he's done really well. I think I believe this was Ulm's first game, and for his first game, like I said, I think he's done really well. He wasn't even in the first. Like, several other players have been knocked out before him. He's still like a power. He has to be considered right now. He's doing pretty good. In terms of who's doing well in what ways right now, I've now seen my first Yomi province. And so remember, I'm judging this off what I've been told, but I'm like, okay, so there's Yomi. I know Yomi has this peninsula. I suspect he's up here where Tirnanog was. And I know his capital was somewhere in this region-ish. So I'm like looking at that and I'm like, damn! I'm like, Herdalas. Holy shit. Herdalas big. Herdalas scary. Herdalas and I, at this point, are joking around on Discord with each other about the upcoming Makone Yomi endgame. We've got Pangea. Pangea's looking pretty decent, but I'm not sure how deeply they've been, like, penetrated by Helheim. Helheim is still the big kid on the block. Like, no question. Helheim is still large and in charge. Pangea's looking pretty big. Agartha, I don't think, is in great shape right now. Because I'm like, Agartha is like, what? Like, this, maybe? Like, maybe 12, 15 provinces at most? I'm like, I don't think Agartha is too long for this world. Judging by this Yomi province and this Hinnom province, like, right next to them. Saromatia, likewise. Saromatia actually looks bigger now than they did slightly, but they've just lost a fort, which is a bad sign. So I'm suspecting that Saromatia is not doing well. I've had a little bit of conversation with Saromatia at this point, but not a lot. Because at this point, I've been actively talking to people about ganging up on Helheim. For, like, several turns. And because I was hoping that the whole war with Baratos would be over by, like, turn 26. And then we would be able to, it would be me, Ulm, Pangea, Saromacia, and Hinnom, literally everyone who borders them, just zerging in against Helheim from all directions and murdering them in a few turns. That was what I was hoping, but the Baratos war is taking longer than I expected, and Saromacia and Pangea are at war, and Hinnom is pretty much the only person who seems like they're really gearing up for a war with Helheim. So I'm like, and I can't go in, because I cannot fight Helheim and still be fighting Baratos. It's not possible. It would be a terrible idea. I would die. So I can't commit to it. Ulm won't go in until I do, because Ulm against Helheim alone would get his absolute shit pushed in. Pangea and Saromacia are busy. And Hinnom won't go in without some assurances from other people as well. So people keep at this point, like, messaging me, like, okay, so are we attacking Helheim? Like, what's going on with Helheim? What's the deal there? And I'm just like, I'm still fighting Baratos, dude. I can't just hold on, hold your fire. But of course, in Dominions, you can't just sit around holding fire for 6 or 12 turns. So people are doing other things. The Helheim Coalition, like, it exists, at least in theory, but it's fragile at this point, and it's shifting, and it's not doing great. So I know I have to take out Baratos quickly, which is why I'm focusing so hard on getting Enchantment 6, so I can get I'm losing my mind. My Sparte, my So Dragon's Teeth. Perun, come on now. In any case, I think that's where I'm going to leave it for today. I know this has been a little bit of a short stream by my standards. Normally I would want to go for another half an hour, but I'm getting a sore throat. And I'm starting to catch up to where, I mean, the game's on like turn 50-something right now. So we made quite a bit of progress. But we're doing okay. We're having fun. And honestly, by this point in the game, I have already proven what I set out to prove to myself and hopefully to the rest of the people in the game, which is that post-rework, Makone is actually pretty damn solid. Like, I won't hide it, I got a little bit lucky in this game. Like, I found the Tower of the Iron Order, and I got the Lizard Shamans. Like, those are good things, but also, Makone's just been doing well. I mean, fighting against Baratos and not winning outright isn't a bad thing, necessarily, when they're spamming air elementals at you, because air elementals suck. I hate air elementals. Makone's doing okay, and we're gonna, we're gonna have to cut this here. We'll come back to this, though, because there are some cool moments coming up in the next, like, 10 turns or so. But we'll be taking a look at. Oh, God. Broken, that was so sad. Y'all are gonna have to wait to see that. But, yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today. So, thank you all for joining. Appreciate your attention. Hope you're, having fun with it. I know I had fun with it. And, I will see y'all next time. Oh, by the way, just to mention, I know this is last minute, but my first Homeworld stream, I know some people have been seeing ads on it because I've been seeing revenue from it. That's not me. As I said at the beginning of that stream, I was not cutting out any of the soundtrack or anything because it's part of the experience. I want everyone to experience it. So somebody who has the rights to some of the Homeworld music copyright claimed it, and they are they've turned on revenue sharing. So instead of just muting the music, they have monetized the music, and so I think they're taking half and they're giving me half. Anyway, I can't change that without a copyright dispute. I filed a lot of copyright disputes on this channel because a lot of automated services claim music in video games. I probably will do that on the Homeworld stream as well. Although I'm kind of tempted to let it be just because I personally think the makers of Homeworld really hit it out of the park, and I kind of am tempted to let them have that income, but I don't know. I'm thinking about it. We'll see how it goes, but I apologize if anybody has seen ads on that stream. You know me, I don't like running ads on stuff. I don't monetize stuff and run ads on it if I have the choice. I may not have the choice on that stream, so if you see ads on it, Sorry, it's not my doing. In any case, thank you all so much for watching. And message deleted by the Google moderator team? What? I don't know what just happened with Rick Khan's message, but in any case, thank you all so much again. I will see you next time. Look for more cool stuff coming out. I probably won't be doing a lot more Dominions 5 videos, like regular videos. I'll probably do more Dominions 5 streams like this. But the Dominions 5 videos, I don't know. I'm not having a lot of fun with them lately, which is why they haven't been coming out lately. So we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely going to be putting up some more videos of other old games and stuff that I have fun with. So look for more content. Thank you for watching. See y'all next time.